Greetings, I am Shad, and welcome to the first Sunday Night Swords. We have named it, it's official. This is going to be the official live streaming day here on Shadiversity. We're going to be having a lot of fun with it. So the format is going to be pretty casual, just to, have a fun, relaxing live stream, interact with you guys. And in the future, we're going to be doing a whole host of things that I have planned. You might have noticed what the subject of this stream is going to be specifically. It is a bit more of a follow-up and also touching base, let you know how things are going, where we are at the moment with the channel, response and other things, and also responding and listening to some of the response videos that people have made, which I think will be very worthwhile as well. But that's for today. Going in the future, there's actually, these live streams open up a lot of opportunity because there are kind of like things I would like to react to, like to comment on, like to do, that just wouldn't have done well on its own video. And with how, I guess, crucial making videos that have a chance to really do well in the algorithm and stuff, there has been types of content that I would like to do that's been a bit left by the wayside or just wasn't large enough to do its own video content. And so someone says, will these streams always be at the same time? Thank you for the super chat. We're going to try it. It's always going to be Sunday night in US, Monday morning for us in Australia. And we're a bit late today. We would like to do it probably an hour or 2 hours earlier than when we're starting today. But we want to do a regular thing at a mostly set time where chances are we'll be late as well. That was from the Pretzel 2, thank you. Wrangle141, hey Shad, love your work, keep fighting the good fight. Will do, mate, appreciate the super chat. So how things are going to go, because there are going to be subjects that we want to cover in each video, and on those notes of subjects, it's live, disjointed, rambly thing, you got to get used to it. Some of the things that I'll be able to do on these live streams that I won't be able to do others is like react to just there are some fantasy images that cross my feed, like that appear on Facebook sometimes or other things that are just really cool that I like to comment on, talk about, because it has interesting things about fantasy. Sometimes a little video that I can do reaction videos to, and a whole host of fun little things. You know those, like, people link me things on Twitter all the time that they would like to see me react to that don't deserve their own video. For instance, recently, there's been, yes, I've seen it, John Wick 4. There's been a promotional image of John Wick 4, which is an utter travesty. It's a complete abomination. John! What are you doing, John? I wonder if people know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the trailer, though it appears in the trailer as well. There's that. Those are the type of things that we'll generally be doing on the live streams. Going to be a lot of fun. And Shad's voice becoming computer voice. Yeah, let me know. There's a reverb echo. Why is there an echo now? So what's going on?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, got an echo, Shad.
Yeah, it fixed it. I think... Sorry.
So, do you reckon that...
I think it's my microphone, when Shad yells,
okay.
it becomes very echoey. But when he does go rampaging, I'll turn my mic off. So
that's what I'll have to do. My rage broke our audio. Is that better, guys? Let us know. I hear it fine. You're good now. Cool. So, great to see you guys in chat. And because we're going to be covering topics and like this now... unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to every super chat, but at the end, we're always going to cover super chats at the end of a stream, and we're going to be doing highest super chats to lowest, depending on time or what we can get to. And so usually we'll try and prioritize the $50 and above, but if we've got time, we're going to try and get as many done as we can. And so that's the course of things. But all right, let's dive right into it. Straight onto the subject of this thing. YouTube. All right. Probably not news to anyone that there's issues with YouTube. Since that video I made, it's got a lot of attention, really, really overwhelming support. That's been wonderful. There has been people saying it's just part of the algorithm. And to me, it's just like, you haven't seen the quotes, you haven't seen all the evidence of YouTube and people from YouTube literally saying that they're going to be prioritizing content. And if they haven't, it's like, okay, well then let's go through the receipts. We'll cover not only the quotes that are out there for everyone to see, further evidence that has happened in this last week that demonstrates something. When I say demonstrate, it confirms so much of what I've been saying about people are still interested in my content. They want to see it. They just haven't been recommending it. And it's specifically how well the boob armor video has done since that video. It's skyrocketed. And anyway, I'll get to that because it's so shocking that it's got half the impressions of the lightsaber one, yet has now got views. And if YouTube was really wanting to push content that would get views, there's a video right here that is doing twice as well as other content in terms of click-through rate, retention, likability, all that stuff, right? That wasn't getting promoted. Now it is because we were able to push through some of the bias with the wave of support that's come through. Really like it. Another thing, when I do see just super chats, that I'll try and cover them as I go, and then we might accidentally recover it later on. But I see Captain Jack 1138, thank you. Hey Shad, love all the content you and the guys do. Keep up the great work. Will do, mate. Appreciate it. Okay, so I want to go through some of the things. I got notes here. So the first part of this whole thing, and I mentioned in the video, but now we're going to share the quotes, is that Susan Wojcicki and other, higher ups in YouTube, they have just come out and said, black and white, that they will suppress content, prioritize other content, and it's not about views or getting money either. That they so there's been some people responding that it's just capitalism, baby. They're like, if videos aren't doing well, it's because they're not going to be making money, and YouTube's all about making money. It's like, no. YouTube actually has an agenda that they're trying to push, and they've said it. I'm not making this up. All right, so. There are these quotes here I want to read out to people. If I can bring up this link. If it's all right, I might just have to copy it. Why is this doing that? For some reason my, there it is. I can copy that. All right, now I can click on the link. It'll bring it up. So this is an article from the news site The Lotus Eaters, and it talks about what it actually covers an interview that Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube, did with the New York Times. And it covers one of the turning point, I feel, for the YouTube bias, where they start to promote stuff that they feel more inclined, that they feel people should watch. And yes, agendas. I saw someone in the comments like, agendas, question mark? Listen to this. Listen to some of these quotes. So this is a direct quote from Susan Wojcicki. I don't know, is that Wojcicki? Wojcicki. From an interview with the New York Times. One of the bigger realizations for me was that we needed to start adapting and changing, and that we needed a very different set of ways of managing information that you may want to than you may want to manage entertainment. Going further, these are some of the further quotes. In 2016, there was a terrorist attack that had happened in France, and I remember reading that and being extremely upset and thinking our users need to know about it. But that didn't perform very well on our platform. The users don't want to actually see it, and so what do you do as a platform? Do you show it to them anyway? Question mark. I remember that very clearly because that was the first time I said to them, first time. Not the only time, this is the first time where it started. She said to the YouTube software engineers, it doesn't matter. We have a responsibility. Something happened in the world and it's important for our users to know. So I want people to think about that. Whether they're saying agenda, YouTube feels, and the people running YouTube feels it's their responsibility to make sure you know about stuff that they think is important. Now, I'm not saying the terrorist attack is important or not, okay? I'm not even commenting on that. I'm saying that they feel that people using the platform are don't have the responsibility to find the content they want or watch the, if they're interested in following the news, they'd be following the news, wouldn't they? But right here, CEO of YouTube said, no, even if you're not following the news, it's our responsibility to make sure you hear about what we think is important, all right? And it was the first time we started using word responsibility and the fact that we needed to put information in our site that was relevant, even if our users were not necessarily engaging with it in the same way they would with entertainment videos. not necessarily engaging with it the same. So what that means, they weren't clicking on it. And so YouTube starting to prioritize content that the user base was actually not interested in and forcing it onto the front page again and again and again. And this is where we get, like, we see impressions for videos that aren't people are less interested in, but getting pushed and pushed and pushed, where there's crazy amounts of impressions on videos that have lower click-through rates, lower attention, lower interactions, but YouTube is pushing it because it's expanded beyond just news items. And there's also quotes that reference that as well. Further quoting, one of the biggest changes that we made from our recommendation system, we realized that there was a set of content that, even if people were repeatedly engaging with it, that it was important to make the recommendations more diversified and to show them more quality content alongside. Oh my goodness. I hate how it's the corporate speak where they try to hide the shocking reality of what that statement is. Even if people were repeatedly engaging with content, so even if there was content that people were watching heaps and heaps and heaps, right? It was that it was important to make recommendations more diversified, meaning even if you're getting all the stuff you want, it's important that we push the stuff we think you should watch over on top of the stuff that you're already engaging with heaps, more diversified, and show them more quality content. That's not more news content. That's not talking about content that about important events or anything like that. It's quality content as what YouTube deems as quality. Do we see how friggin' utter garbage that is? And it's face off. This quote has been out there for ages. Anyone who says YouTube is chasing the money, that's completely wrong. They have actually said, direct quote right here, that they will suppress content that is getting them more views, more people engaging on the platform, more clicks, more ads seen. They will suppress content that is getting engaged a lot to diversify their recommendations to show people the quality content that they deem as quality. What utter friggin' bullcrap is that, okay? I mean, and this has been out there for ages. A lot of people know of it, but what's also shocking, a lot of people don't. And so, is it a bit presumptuous of me to title this stream Exposing YouTube? Well, there's a lot of people that have not seen this face-off stuff. This is the quotes I'm directly referring to in that previous video. It's right here, black and white. And so let's just qualify if they're doing it, okay? They say they want to show more quality content. Let's see the type of quality content that YouTube feels is appropriate. And so I am going to go to YouTube and I will go to the trending tab. Nathan, do you want to share my screen here? So, the trending tab, this is the quality content that YouTube feels you really need to see more often, right? And this is not even going into subcategories, but you'll see a trend, the same type of creators getting promoted again and again and again, and a lot of mainstream stuff. Look, we've got trailer. I know the trailer's just dropped, but they're pushing them massively. So mainstream content, and then content from very similar creators. So there's Mr. Beast, there's Game Theory, more trailers, sports, Odd Ones Out, there's Minecraft content, and like for someone like me, there's nothing I'm interested in so far. And look at all this just corporate stuff. And a lot of the videos are very, I don't know, what's the way to describe the types of videos that's been promoted? It's always from the really big creators, the bombastic, you know, in-your-face kind of creators as well, that are, oh my goodness. So Hot Ones, that's one of the only ones that's not like over the top, you know, high energy stuff. It's you know, an interview show. But this is the trending tab. And let me ask you a couple of things. Like this is the quality content YouTube is prioritizing, because the trending tab's bias, utter complete bias, this is not organically determined. I hope people realize this, the trending tab, is that some of the biggest videos that just explode when they're put out on YouTube and getting crazy views, crazy shares, get excluded from the trending tab, all right? It's not the organic thing. I've had videos that upon release have done way better in terms of their initial view count from release than many of the videos on trending. And I mean, you would think that certain videos, right, should, like for trending, should be in the million category. There's one on trending here that's only had 330,000 views. My video on YouTube, when I released it, I think had more views than that within that time frame, easy. Okay, so what's determining what goes on trending? Okay, there are so many videos that the audience on YouTube are interacting and viewing vastly more than what they put on the trending. And if they're actually interested in promoting the popular stuff that people are watching, the stuff that would make them money, the trending tab would look vastly different. Okay, so just interested in some of the the chats are just going about, people like shocked quality. Yeah, they want to show more diverse content when all this content is so corporate. It's actually not very diverse. It does not show the diversity that's out on YouTube at all. This is all very samey, vloggy, high energy. It's the YouTube influencer, guys. The stereotypical influencer. This is the stuff that also gets promoted heavily in VidCon. This is why I really didn't like VidCon, when they tried to demonstrate what is out on YouTube and they had like these promotional stuff everywhere. I saw nothing that really reflected the YouTube I like to see and interact with. And look, am I a smaller niche? I don't know, actually, because I'm a massive nerd, okay? I love all the nerdy stuff. And gaming stuff, and oh my goodness, gaming is like not represented so much in VidCon. It's like they tried to ignore that gaming exists, even though gaming encompasses one of the larger content groups on YouTube. Flat. It is some of the most viewed content on YouTube is gaming, but they like to pretend it doesn't exist, or hyperbole, just hyperbole there. So that is the the quality content YouTube is pushing, right? And then going back to the article I'm thinking, so we can take down the screen. Yeah, I think you're ready to take it down.
Thank you, chat. It's okay. We're fixing it. We're fixing it.
Fixing it.
You can say this live. Look at, we're changing batteries.
Can't trust batteries these days. Is my audio back now?
Yes.
Okay, we're back. Technically, this is what happens. It's live, baby. What do you get? Okay, so I don't know when I got cut out. Did people hear the last quote that I had read out?
I don't think so.
All right. So I'm going to read the quote again. And so continuing on, says, we began to identify content that we called borderline content, and that if users were repeatedly engaging with this borderline content, we will show them other content alongside that we have ranked as more high quality content. Holy crap. My goodness, right? People listen, this is a literal admission that YouTube ranks content according to quality that they deem. They have a ranking system of what content is of better quality than not. Said right here, okay? And it's not, I'll put money on, it's not just bad content, good content. No. There's okay, best content, the Mr. Beast, the stuff that's on trending, and a little bit less, and then all the way down to content that they blacklist, all right? Because there's another one where they talk about what they call borderline content. It's content that doesn't break their policies, so it doesn't deserve to be banned off YouTube, but they consider it borderline. They really don't want people watching it, and so they massively derank it. They don't let subscribers know that this video has come out, so they don't give notifications. They actually say they do not send out notifications. And at the moment, I'm not kidding, right? I'll show the article. They are literally considering blocking the ability to share content that they feel is borderline off-site. So they are blocking features so you can't even copy a link and share it off-site. That's how far they're going in trying to suppress content that they don't like, that they consider borderline. And then you have all the content in between. I can obviously still share my content, but I'm somewhere there, and I'm definitely not on the cleared, creator area level. I just can't believe it. But that's been this for ages, and so many people are unaware of it, and it's in your face, mask off. It's been like this for a while. So borderline content that users repeatedly engage with. And so that's the thing. They say users were repeatedly engaging with, all right? And so it means this stuff was getting viewed a lot. And don't let them, the bias where they say this is like really dark, bad stuff, because there is content like that gets, if it breaks, terms of service, all right, there's a different thing, but this is stuff that not breaks terms of service. Don't think that it's all the terrible, terrible stuff. We're talking about gun channels, okay? Gun channels have been considered borderline content for ages, and they have been massively suppressed. Massively. And some of these gun channels are amazing. Shout out to Forgotten Weapons, Ian. Amazing YouTube channel, really educational, high-quality stuff, all right? And there's other content that's considered less favorable. And when they say, we will show them content alongside... No. To show content alongside, that means they have to remove content, because you only can fit so much on the screen and your recommendations. And so to show them content alongside the content you've subscribed for, they have to remove the content, or at least half the content you've subscribed for, to fit it all in. It's been like that for a while. And further quotes, and what is that? What that has done is it actually has had a 70% reduction of views of borderline content in the US. They're celebrating that they have suppressed views on the content that they don't like by 70%. And this isn't just extremist content, okay? Like I said, gun channels, anything that YouTube doesn't like, because YouTube does have a bias. Just look at the trending tab to see that bias, all right? And this legitimate quotes here, they have a ranking system for quality content, the quality that they deem it, all right? And they're celebrating that's been reduced, and we've been in the process of rolling it out globally. And this is already a couple of years old, I think. It's in most English language countries and a few large markets in France and Germany. It's already out. It's there. So, so someone says, I get suggested for 3-year-old videos and armor, never for the new stuff. Yeah, Demolition Ranch is another one that just has been shafted, and his videos are awesome, hilarious and fun. I've done a reply to him actually, because he used such crap armor when he was testing it. Still love the guy, really funny. Yeah, news channels have been hit, so if YouTube just want to make money, they wouldn't be doing this. They've literally suppressed views, lowered the amount of views they would get. That money they could, they have restricted the level of money they could have made if they were just promoting the stuff that people are interested in. It's not too hard. If it actually follows people's interests, it's like, oh, you've watched a couple of these videos in this group, or you like these other ones. But no, they're now legitimately suppressing the content they don't like and suggesting stuff that people are not interested in. And it's worse now than ever before with shorts and the other prioritizations and the recent changes in the algorithm. And so I have talked about authoritative sources. I could share just a quote, but I think that one has been repeated a lot, that people know that YouTube is prioritizing authoritative sources. Borderline content, I covered a lot. There's other quotes that I can share, and this just confirms even further what's been going on. But I think the quotes I already have shared are so damning. You couldn't go further than it. But the thing is that I can now show in my analytics the results of this type of stuff. All right? Further evidence about this, and more so recently. Okay, so I'm going to jump to some of those analytics now. I think that's what I'm up to. I have my notes here. Videos still getting... Okay, yep. So I'll get to that stuff in a second. This is what... So if people want some evidence about have my views declined, all right? I would like to Exhibit A, if we could bring this up, Nathan. So here are my views. You can see the time period, okay? When your views drop, okay, because of viewer interest decline, it's actually very gradual. A whole chunk of viewers just don't wake up the week later and say, I don't want to watch Shadowversity videos, they're getting a bit samey, okay? It's a gradual decline. If there is a massive instant drop in something that then stays consistent, no, that's not organic. Not at all. And have a look at this. So you will see my views previously, and then what my views are currently, except for the recent spike thanks to the galvanizing of the community, which has been amazing, all right? But seriously, have a look. Very consistent. I took a week off, or a couple of weeks off at Christmas, so you see a break there. If you can see my, see that there? That's the Christmas break. Views stayed the same. Came back, and when I came back, spiked up. In actual fact, things were looking really, really good, and then something changed. I also got COVID, and so there's the break there. And then views consistently dropped by a third and started to get worse down here, okay? You see the spikes do not get nearly as high as it started. So see, you got these spikes, and then nothing, like things are struggling to break the 125,000 mark. That is not just me. So many creators are sharing the same thing, all right? And since I made that video, not just I was saying it's happening to my community, it's happening to so many creators outside of my community, all right? Massive drop-off and decline in views. The overall user base on YouTube hasn't declined, all right? And the question is, this is where people start to try and argue a point. And I think it's good that people try and argue because it means that I need to qualify what I'm saying, double check, and the advantage is that it's just found more evidence to the contrary. The first thing, if people say this is just algorithmic, normal stuff, contradicted flat out by the quotes that we've just shared by YouTube, okay? By the CEOs actively saying they have a ranking system for what they deem as quality content, and that they are suppressing it, all right? And they're suppressing views, and it's not just for money. So anyone who is trying to argue the point otherwise needs to acknowledge and address those quotes, because a lot of the people that, and I've had discussions with people that were trying to say it's because of algorithmic kind of stuff, weren't even aware of it or weren't addressing that most damning evidence right there that YouTube has just said this is what they're doing. And then there are other things like an instant drop that remain consistent. That's not a gradual thing. That's not how it works. You see waves of viewership rise and ebb and all that stuff. And so going back to the arguments, if it's just about, it's the algorithm, maybe people are less interested in your content, which I freely admit it might have been, but then I showed evidence that, hang on, if people were just less interested in my content, why are certain videos that I expected to do really well do really well on other platforms, but not so well on YouTube? And then I see this weird kind of thing happen with a couple of videos specifically. So if I zoom back out, so someone shared this on Twitter with me. They actually look, because I shared some of my analytics in that video, and they made this. Just comparing the two videos that came out side by side. City of Castles video, which I thought would do really well, because it's right up the alleyway of not only my audience interest, but it's such a quirky, interesting topic. Stuff like this usually attracts viewership outside of my audience in a large regard, and it didn't do well. But it outperformed the lightsaber video by double on off-platform site, Odyssey specifically, where I get the most views on off-platform. I'm going to talk about off-platform sites, okay, because there's one that I want to talk about that not many people know of called Utreon, so stuff to bring up about that. So the thing is, though, by those actively going in search of my channel page in order to find content, there's nearly double interest in the City of Castle videos versus the lightsaber video. And this person pointing out based on the analytics they saw. Yet YouTube has their own agenda, so we're looking at this part, on what to promote on people's home pages and recommendations and even notifications. And the more they push their choices, the less space there is for content people actually subscribe for. And it is shocking how much that lightsaber video got promoted. Now, this is the thing. I don't necessarily want to complain. I'm glad a video does really well, but the issue is, based on the click-through rate and interest and performance of that lightsaber video, it actually should have done far less well than what it did, and videos that have way more interest, that people are clicking on vastly more when they see my other content, wasn't doing well at all. It's like, that's a bit odd. Now, the suppression on the ranking that they do, depending on what rank you are on that, I feel it's pretty clear that there are different levels of suppression, deranking, and less recommendations. There's the full-on borderline content that they deem they just won't recommend, period, right? But then there's like levels on this ranking system that, all right, well, might, derank it by half notifications or something like that, or we need to make sure the viewers get this other video or something. There are ways to break through it though, and that's if a video goes kind of ballistic and has crazy click-through rate, okay? And we got to see that with my YouTube video where I'm saying, YouTube is a crappy platform, hates most creators, and I want to talk about my language there, why I chose to say hates most creators. It was intentional, but I can address that in the reaction to Skallagrim's video. Because Skallagrim did a reply video, I think he raised some really great points that I want to talk about, and he brings up that, and I can talk about it there. And I lost my train of thought. I do that all the time. So it was talking about something. Damn it! It's going to happen regularly every stream. We need to name it the, I don't know, Shad Brain Fart or something like that. I'll come back to it. It'll come back to me. Nathan, chat with the chat a bit while I try and think.
Hello, chat. Well, Shad reconsiders his brain's decision to forget things. How are you all going? We've seen a lot of people agreeing, saying, just some quality content that they want to see no longer be able to... Oh, everyone's calling it shart. They want to call it shart.
Oh, come on! That's too mean.
See, I thought it, but I didn't say it because I thought it would have been too mean.
I don't like that one, guys. Okay, I think I'm slowly regaining it back. It was promoting videos that were having less interest. I'll just try and pick up from that vein. But it was specifically because what was I going to address with Skallagrim's one? Because I said I would address it with. Oh, it was.
I don't know what you're going to
do. Oh yeah, that was the title, and I was referring to the video. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm back on. I got the train again, and I don't want to lose it. Damn it, I'm about to lose it again. I'm tired, guys. It was
the title of the video. Title
of the video.
YouTube
that it can break through the suppression. That's the point that I was wanting to continue on. All right, so. There are, like, if a video does really, really well, it can break through the suppression, especially when lots of people share it and other interactions like comments, subscribing, liking and stuff. And that's why I've been encouraging a lot, big push that if you want to help videos break through the suppression, liking, commenting, subscribing if you haven't, and sharing the video is becoming more crucial now than ever because YouTube, it can only do so much. And it's actually finding this as well against people just, if you want to find the content you want to watch, you have the power to do it. Screw the recommendation system, go directly to the creators that you want to watch and see. It's funny that YouTube, they've actually commented that they don't like this, okay? All right, this one I need to share. It's in the borderline content one. So listen to this. They don't like people circumventing their suppression. They are that, incensed, like they want so much control over the platform and what you watch that the fact that people are going around it and sharing content anyway, they don't like it. And so this is a article based on an interview with Chief Product Officer Neil Mohan from YouTube. And I'll try and find... Okay, so this is about their borderline content, that videos that don't quite cross the line of our policies for removal, but that we don't necessarily want to recommend to people. Listen to that. Content that YouTube doesn't want to recommend, so they don't recommend it, all right? Again, just flat in your face. Yeah, there's content we're suppressing, we're not recommending it, all right? But the thing is, though, these videos are not breaking policy, and so they can't technically, legally remove the content. They want to. It's clear they want to, but they don't legally. We would like to break the law, but you know. So that's because YouTube aims to remove these videos from its recommendations, but they can still spread widely when shared on other platforms. All right. So YouTube wants to remove lots of videos it doesn't approve of from recommendations flat. But these videos, even when removed from recommendations, can still spread widely when shared on other platforms. So this is one of their solutions, guys. One possible way to address this is to disable the share button or break the link on videos that we're already limiting in recommendations, he wrote. That effectively means you couldn't embed or link to a borderline video on another site. So they dislike the fact that you can circumvent their suppression, so much so that they are, this is the quote, they are considering blocking being able to link and share videos. And you're going to use the excuse of extremist content, but then they're the arbiters. They get to say what they approve of, what's quality, what's extreme, and all that stuff. And they're going to lump in a whole heap of others, like the gun channels. Anything gun-related is now extreme borderline, and swords aren't too far removed from guns, okay? And then what is next? What is next? What's crazy, okay? There are news-related content, all right? So when something truly terrible happens, that's shocking, like a terrorist attack or something like that, all right? That is a news item, and so, but who gets to report on it then? There are heaps, and I mean heaps of independent news-related YouTube channels that do videos reporting on shocking events, okay, because they're news-related, and those videos get demonetized, deranked, sometimes removed completely, while the mainstream media channels that cover the same events, perfectly fine, full monetization, ads on them and everything, okay? So the bias is incredible. And so when it comes to blocking borderline content that's too extreme, well, guess what? That's usually only on independent creators that are covering that stuff. The extreme content that is covering shocking things, perfectly fine if a mainstream source covers it. Utter bullcrap. Utter bullcrap. And you see this. All you have to do is listen to some of these creators where they say, look, here is the event I'm covering. This is the video that got taken down. Same video, same topic, same event being covered by a mainstream source, up, monetize, everything. One, Exhibit A, Exhibit B. And so this is going back to this quote, we grapple with whether preventing shares may go too far in restricting a viewer's freedom. Yes, of course it does. Bloody idiots. He said an alternative approach could be adding an interstitial the words that appear before a viewer can watch borderline embedded video links. But this is the thing, all right? If they do that, they're going to expand what they consider borderline based on outside pressure a lot. At the moment, you can still circumvent this by sharing, okay? They haven't instituted it yet, but this is what they even want to do. That's how bad it's getting. So when I say it's getting worse, yes, it's getting worse. But okay, at the moment, go directly to the creators that you like, okay? And for me, if you want to get a high chance you'll get recommendations, I announce when I post videos on my Facebook, my Twitter, and now we are sending out email notifications for those who subscribe to my website, shadmbrooks.com. There's a link in the description, I believe, Nathan. Mm-hmm. That will guarantee you get those notifications. And you can take that power back by just going to it directly. Okay, Other things. All right, so I was talking about the video. So we're sharing this one, okay. The video, as I mentioned, the YouTube one, not only broke through the suppression, so many of my viewers basically for the first time in ages saw a recommendation, which was the YouTube video I had done. And then that reminded, like, oh yeah, what's been happening with Shad? I haven't seen his notifications in ages. And then they went back and they found a whole host of videos of the past 2 months that they barely saw. So many comments under that video. It was like, out of the last 10 videos, I only saw like 2. So many videos. Commenters legitimately writing like, this is really pissed me off. I've missed all this content I would have liked to enjoy. And so that got a lot of the content that didn't get recommended viewed, and the views on the channel I've had a wave, which has been wonderful. I don't know how long it'll last, okay? It's going to be reliant on you guys to look for the content that you want, and that'll keep things going. What's interesting though, this is where something really interesting happened, okay? Viewer interest is already there, but certain videos, okay, got a bit of a wave of interest by people just being reminded, hey, my content's there. And remember how there's chances to push through the algorithmic bias, all right? Well, it happened on a video that I had expected should have happened at the beginning, okay? There are some videos that you know are just going to get viewed more based on the past track record. And I don't abuse those videos. I'll only do videos on those topics when it's fun to do, it's in the right mood, and I won't exploit clickbait too much, essentially. But I'm happy to do something that is clickbaity if it's perfectly in line with what the interests of my my viewers, and it's, you know, I haven't done one in a while. And so when things were going really bad and things were getting suppressed, I purposely made videos that would have, like, by the past track record of my channel, my viewers love and have done really, really well. So if we go back to my YouTube videos here, there were a couple that I did that I was expecting to do really, really well based on the past interest of my audience. And these were my attempts to try and help jumpstart the channel, bring it back. And when these failed, this is when it really started to indicate to me, oh, something is up with YouTube. Because my audience is still interested in that. And if people are saying, are they really, Shad? Wait about it, because one of the videos that got suppressed has now exploded because people were just allowed to be known that it existed. And not only has it exploded, it has twice the click-through rate with half the impressions of a video that YouTube arbitrarily pushed massively for different reasons. And so people are twice as interested in this video, and they actually got seen it and they've watched it because it's actually a really fun video. I'm really proud of it. I'm happy with it. But there are other videos that have the same indications, that have a very high click-through rate, that the same thing that was being shown in this one right here, that people, when they go to my channel and they get to see all the content available, there are videos that are indicating a very high interest with my audience, but are not getting promoted. And so going back to my YouTube channel here, some of the ones that I did really well, so the choppy one, right? That initially came out as I made a sword guillotine, and it had a really fun kind of bombastic thing, and it just flatlined. It wasn't doing well. And it's like, this is a really quirky, fun, strange video where I'm doing something out of the ordinary. And so I tried multiple different titles, because someone reached out to me saying, why the hell would you title this choppy? It was a waste of a title. And it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't respond to this one because I can't respond to everything, but I read it. And it's like, maybe people should consider that I have a little bit more information on what's going on my channel, and that I've tried multiple titles several times, and this title improved views, like by double, still didn't bring the... basically, this video would have had maybe 60,000 views if I left it on the original title. Titling it Choppy actually brought it up to 109,000 views over 2 months, still very underneath what my average was. Remember, if you want to see what my average was, it is that right there, all right? There was my average, that's what it is now. And so why would, if people are just wondering about the YouTube thing, why would a title like Choppy do better? It's called creating a gap of information, a question mark. It's proposing a what's going on with this kind of reaction. And so it's like, what is the context of this video? And by titling it that, not stating it, this is a sword guillotine, just like, hey, I'm chopping stuff with this weird thing, look at the quirky thumbnail, actually created far more interest in that video than initially. Still didn't do well. But that was one that I had made that I thought would do really well. Didn't. In conjunction with that, fight scene autopsy, okay? Fight scene autopsies, like if you just want to just see, if I type in fight scenes on my channel, and then mine, let me just autopsy. That'll bring them up. Okay. If you want to look at fight scene autopsies, all right, these are the two recent ones, but most of my fight scene autopsies have always done really well. 500,000, 1.3 million, 600,000, nearly at 1 million, 800,000, close to the 1 million mark. Fight scene autopsies, like, according to the track record, have been massively popular on my channel. And so in me trying to bring back viewership, you know, because this is what you do. You see ups and downs on YouTube, but you learn, okay, if things are down, you can usually go back to some of the tried and true videos that audiences have really liked and everything. And so fight scene autopsy, bang, I released that as well. This one did horribly. Like it's only through shares, people sharing the video after the fact, that has slowly clawed its way up to 157,000. But we're talking like, I think it didn't even pass 80,000 in the first month. That's really, really poor. And in comparison to other fight scene autopsies, it's like, all right. Surprisingly, the short sword one actually did okay. The backscabbard one, I thought it would do better. It did okay. The Kamikoto one did quite well because it was a more, I guess, it's exposing something, right? But there are a number of videos that I thought should have done really well, me going back to those tried and true ones that usually have a lot of interest. And so that's where we see the Forgotten City of Castles, Boob Armor, another fight scene autopsy, Knights vs. Dinosaurs, sword fighting in space. Those were some ones that I sat down and actually brainstormed with the guys in the studio. We're like, what's a video that we know my audience would really like? And we came up with these ones. And then they all underperformed massively, which was hugely discouraging because we put in a lot of work into some of these. All of them, actually. Nathan, how much editing was required for the sword fighting in space? Because you edited that.
Oh, you're bringing me that video. Okay, editing itself with your comments probably would have taken about maybe 4 to 6 hours to do properly. And then adding green screen elements, animating you. That would have been another maybe 16 hours worth of work.
It was a lot. That was
nearly a full week work
to edit that one. So we put in heaps of effort to make these videos, and then they don't do nearly as well as they honestly should have, based on what I know my audience likes and everything like that. Okay, and so now we come to one of the more shocking bits of evidence for me more recently, and that is the boob armor, because with the wave of viewers being reminded that I exist, one of these videos actually pushed through the bias, and now it's at 445,000 views. It's doubled in views since last week, okay? I'll bring up the screenshot of this one. So if you want to see, that's the boob armor video. That was last week, and then, do you see this? Do you see that thing? That's what happened recently. I want people to pay attention now because this video has a 2.9% click-through rate, 9.7 million impressions. It's good, okay? The lightsaber one, I brought this up in my other video, 1.4% click rate, half the interest across the board. And people tried to say, by the way, it's very common to have low click-through rates on videos that have lots of views. So I don't know, this is the trend of the click-through rate. Well, before it got heaps of views and everything like that, compare click-through rate. Click-through rate has been consistently lower with the lightsaber one versus the boob armor across the board from release. Okay, yet this one has had nearly 20 million impressions. That's staggering. Okay, yet this boob armor video with half the impressions has more views than it. Half the impressions, more views. So what is YouTube doing? Does YouTube want to make money? Because it's actually pretty easy to figure out. Recommend the video that's getting clicked and viewed. It's not hard. And you'd think it's a pretty large statistical difference where, this video is getting clicked on twice as much as this other one. But no, we won't promote, we won't suggest that one. We are going to shove this video in people's faces ad nauseum nearly 20 million times. All right? So if YouTube was honestly chasing the money, it would have been promoting a video that from the very release, more people were interested in, more people were watching, and all that. But it's not doing that, clearly. Just, you can compare it. It's night and day. And so there are 20 million impressions on this video that's wasted, essentially. Sorry, when I say 20, I mean 10 million impressions versus the other one, completely wasted. A video that less people were interested in, that YouTube shoved in people's faces, that people were less interested in, that honestly could have made way for my other videos that my audience were more interested in, or another creator's videos that my audience like, or share views, share interest in other things. Skallagrim, okay? My audience would love a lot of Skallagrim's videos, but he's been copying it massively. And we'll have a look at Skallagrim's video. And so many other creators. Lindy Beige, Metatron, Todd Cutler from... and so that's just in our community, let alone outside of our community, okay? There's another kind of shocking thing that this reveals to me when we look at these two videos, because it raises the question, why then was the lightsaber one recommended so heavily? And people, I even said that, I assumed is because of the trending topic, right? Lightsabers. But no, hang on. This is where it doesn't add up. If Star Wars and lightsabers was trending, that means Star Wars lightsaber related content should be getting clicked more than other content. That's what would make it trending. Yet this video was getting clicked half as much as the other one. So was it trending? I honestly don't think it was. Why was Star Wars related content getting pushed so heavily even when there was less interest in this than my other videos? This is where it reveals something a little bit nefarious, honestly, a bit very concerning. It's that trending topics might not be organically produced as we once thought, where everyone's just consuming Star Wars related content, because trending topics should be determined by viewer interest, what people are more interested in clicking. And we see proof, direct proof right here, that less people were interested in this video than this other one that got released very close to one another. So, this is my conclusion. I don't have irrefutable evidence for this part, but it's a natural conclusion based on evidence we've already looked at. And I suspect quite strongly, and I wouldn't put past YouTube, that they have certain back-end deals where larger companies and stuff might approach YouTube and say, hey, we'll pay you a certain amount to prioritize certain content. I wouldn't put it past Disney, who owns Star Wars, who owns Marvel, and say, hey, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi out. Could you make sure Star Wars content gets pushed higher in priority and we'll pay you a certain amount? Wouldn't surprise me at all. Just saying. I don't know that's happening definitively, but like again, it raises the question, why are certain topics supposed to be trending when they're actually getting less views? You know, I'll leave that hanging in the air. I guess you can all draw your own conclusions on that one. But my goodness, just looking at these two videos, again, more views now with half the impressions. And if YouTube was honestly after the money, these are the types of videos it would be promoting, not videos that have half the interest, half the click-through rate versus impressions. Yet, we already know it has a bias. Remember, it has videos that it claims is quality over another. We got the quote, right? So clearly, it feels Star Wars-related content is more important to push, maybe because of certain corporate deals on the back end, than content people are actually interested in. Shocking. Shocking, shocking to me. So, I'm not really pausing, but I do want to see some of the chat. So people are mentioning the alternatives. Maybe now's a good time to talk about the alternatives, the alternative hosting platforms. yeah, I was pushed Star Wars content when Kenobi was airing. And like I said, my first assumption was that, okay, that should make sense. Star Wars is out, everyone, but if it really was like having higher interest and everything like that, the click-through rates would be higher. But they were half the amount. Okay, so I will address, getting to super chats. I'm just wondering how many have kind of piled up there, Nathan, at the moment. We might have a lot, I'm assuming, or it's still manageable.
No, I think that's manageable. Not as much as last week.
Okay. Thank you to everyone who has super chatted. We do appreciate it. We will get to those. All right, so alternatives. Everyone knows of Rumble and BitChute, Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. Most of the people do. If you don't, there are alternative video hosting platforms. The issue that myself and a lot of other creators facing is that I'm running a business on it, and I need to try and maintain revenue sources to pay people's wages, and also not only that, because yes, I will accept just being able to cover the bills, right? I would like to push to growth. I'd like to actually get more money coming in than what we need to expend to grow further. I want to expand to potentially make more YouTube channel, more content, but also to create more culture, all right? I've written a novel. I'd like to get into a point where I can get back to writing more often. I'd like to produce graphic novels, comic books, even expanding into video game production and even animated series and things. Do that though, I need to build a solid foundation and I need growth, and so that's what I'm aiming for. Because my true self, I love performing, I love being a content creator, and I'll always do it. But I'm actually more, my heart is more in creating stories, wonderful characters and stuff like that. It always has been. In actual fact, a lot of my YouTube content is a manifestation from my love of stories. Why do you think I cover fantasy and everything so much? Because I love these fantasy worlds and I love doing it. And so, yeah, I want to expand. But to do that, you need to cover the bills. And unfortunately, YouTube is the only one that has proper viable monetization at the moment. And so there is content on other platforms, but because we don't make money on the other platforms, I need people to watch on YouTube unless we can find a way to support ourselves outside of the ad revenue system, which is why we've been encouraging and being very grateful to everyone who has been supporting us on Patreon and Subscribestar. But there is a new player on, well, it's been around for a couple of years already, but more recently, it has a lot of features that are actually really good. And so what I do want to mention right now is, because it has some viable monetization and showing some real promise, is a platform called Utreon. Has anyone, I'm interested in how many people have heard of Utreon. Utreon, we do have it linked in this description now, don't we?
Yeah.
Nathan. Why is Utreon interesting? And by the way, I'm really grateful, and I love seeing Rumble and Odyssey growing and stuff. Hopefully I get to a point, because Odyssey in particular is close to launching a partner program for monetization. Okay, so even though I'm highlighting Utreon at the moment, I'm still mindful of the great work that the other platforms are doing it. But yeah, people are saying never heard of it. Utreon is a video hosting site, competitor to YouTube, all right? It has a lot of backing to make something that's actually quite polished already. And they're very creative focused. The CEO reached out to me to help me get my content on and figure out. In actual fact, he reached out to me a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay, it's a new one. I wasn't really sure on how amazing it would be, but diversify my content. If you can mirror my content, happy to do it. He did. And with the new stuff what's happening on YouTube recently, my recent video, he reached out again, and I went back and I had a look, and they have done a lot of work. They're constantly improving it. And so at the moment, I went to Utreon, and something shocking happened when I went back to Utreon. I clicked on a video and an ad played before it. They actually have monetization already started on it in terms of ads appearing on things. Look, I know many people don't like ads. For creators, this is really important and essential. And having another platform already supporting ad revenue, I don't know how huge it is, but I just clicked on it randomly. This wasn't set up or anything. I just clicked on, holy crap, an ad is playing? I was not expecting that. Not only do they have that, they have a membership subscribe system similar to Patreon that's integrated into the video hosting platform, like YouTube memberships. So YouTube memberships is like Patreon, but on YouTube. But I have not turned on YouTube memberships on YouTube because YouTube has been so darn crap. One, they take a much higher cut than Patreon. So the money that you're trying to pay to creators, YouTube takes a far too large a cut. Two, YouTube suppresses content and bans content, and they could wipe away my channel, and if my channel gets yeeted, so do all the memberships that people were donating through. And so, eggs in baskets, I'm not going to... And so I've been very reluctant in turning on memberships on YouTube as a result. Utreon has that integrated already. And that means, because if I want to post content only for donors through Patreon or Subscribestar, usually it's a link that takes them off site. With Utreon, it's integrated. I can actually post content that's purely for donors that takes them off site, and it's integrated completely. They also have merchandising fully integrated as well. YouTube is the only platform that does that at the moment. Like, see this excellent high quality chainmail print hoodie, which is absolutely amazing and total Chad's buy and wear, and because it's so great. It's available through my Spring store. There are links in the description, but that's integrated on Utreon as well.
Someone just said, Shad, that they went to Utreon just now, and you're on the homepage, advertised.
Hey, thank you, I appreciate that, Utreon. But hey, credit where credit's due. I also appear on the homepage in Odyssey as well. They are trying to support creators. It's really good. Utreon at the moment has some great features. And so those donation supports, Patreon styles, it is set up on Utreon for Shadiversity, Night's Watch, and the Shadland, so you can support the content that you particularly like that I make. And that means I can give you behind the scenes content specifically for if you want to support my Night's Watch stuff, because my Night's Watch stuff I've tried to separate from Shadiversity because it's different content, right? And some people only want to support Shadiversity because they don't like Night's Watch, or vice versa. I can send out videos, bonus content to people who are only wanting to support that channel versus this channel, whereas Patreon at the moment, it wasn't working to do separate Patreons and everything, but it's already set up on Utreon and it's working really well. So Utreon is a great one. Up-and-comer, great back-end support, a lot of features already, and a lot of the gun channels are finding heaps of support there. Ian from Forgotten Weapons, finding massive support on Utreon. Great to see, great to see. So that's what I want to say on alternatives at the moment. And I am on those other platforms. So this is the end of the main takeaway. The one that has got most support, like I said, is Utreon, but watch me wherever you want to watch me. At the moment, I do prefer the monetized ones for the reasons I explained. Okay, so we covered some heavy stuff, but we're not done. I would like to go through Skallagrim's video, actually. Skallagrim did a reply, raised some really interesting things that I want to talk about, respond to, confirm, and also try and give some support to other creators. Not only Skallagrim in our community, but he hasn't been getting recommended. Same with Metatron, same with Lloyd of Lindy Beige, same with Todd Cutler. And I would love to see everyone in the community grow. Madison, Scholar Gladiatoria. Sorry if I'm forgetting, because sometimes, but all great guys, all making great content. And I'll jump to Skallagrim's one in just a sec. So let me go to areas. So Skallagrim made a video entitled YouTube has become a burnout machine, a reply to Shadiversity. So I'll skip the ad. Alright, so I'm not getting audio. Do I need to plug in headphones? Is that going to be tricky?
What you need to do... So do you want...
The best way to do audio.
Do you want chat to hear it as well?
Yes, I do
Okay.
want... I want
if you press the Windows key...
Windows key, yes.
And then type in voice... And it
Voice...
should be voice meter that comes up.
if I typed it in correctly, I'm sure that was... Yes, voice meter.
Yep.
Yep, voice meter is open.
And then... Give it a second.
We're professionals here.
I try playing the... and then go down to your sound settings.
So where are the sound settings?
The Windows.
Okay,
Like
okay.
Windows sound settings.
Sound...
Oh, sorry. In the bottom left, there's like the little speaker. Where like in the tabs.
Oh, hang on. Oh no, I just closed one of the main windows down. Oh, this is going great. Sorry, what were you saying? What were you wanting me to do?
So, at the bottom here, you know where you have like the internet and
Yes,
the speaker?
yeah. Click on that.
Click on that, and then click select voice meter. There should be
Voice.
two.
So the auxiliary input.
Try one.
Try the top one. You mean?
Try the first voice meter one.
So this one.
Yep.
All right.
And then click on the. Do you get any sound?
Let me see. No.
Okay, try the second one.
So I was on the second one.
There we go.
Got sound. Okay. And so,
Yeah.
guys, let us know if this is coming through for you. And I.
A while and listen. Let me.
So, can you hear Skallagrim? Is he coming through? So, when people say watch the ad, just to let people know, watching the ad doesn't affect the monetization. It's just the ad appearing. So, people who pay for ads, right? They pay for just the ad appearing, and it's up to them to try and catch people's interest to get them to watch through. So, a monetized view, according to YouTube, is just ad appearing flat. Feel free to skip ads as much as you like. I appreciate the sentiment and the assumption that people have that watching a full ad gets the payment. It isn't. And I get paid a certain rate versus every 1,000 ads that just appear. And so usually it's like between $3 to $6. I'll get $3 to $6 per 1,000 ads, and not every not every view or video you click on will have an ad appear. Okay. All right, so you can hear it. People can hear.
Chat's saying it's good.
It's good. So is it up on the side? We'll bring it on the side. This is Skallagrim now.
Tell you about the old times when you and YouTube still meant something.
I agree. Let's reminisce.
This is a topic that is on my mind basically every day.
For creators, that this is a livelihood. It really is. It really is. It weighs on you, and it's bothersome how much your mental health is reliant on the performance of the channel. You can get really obsessed by tracking things too much. It doesn't affect me as much as others, but when things really struggling, yeah. You're smiling at something, Nathan. What are you
Just because there's an echo. When you watch the video,
yeah, it's getting picked up.
I will turn off your mic. It's going to be a tricky business.
It's
But
gonna be
chat,
tricky.
I'll do it for you, for the production quality.
All right, so I'm playing. Let's see if you can do it.
And I considered a number of times to make a video about it, but always decided against it because it can very easily just derail into venting, and it may come across as whiny or entitled or...
So I get his sentiment there because, again, it took a while for me to make a video about this. I've seen drops before that makes you wonder, hey, there's something shifty going on. And this drop happened consistent. So things have been bad for several months, and it took a while of consistent suppression before I was like, I need to talk about it. I need to let people know.
or whatever. And quite frankly, why should you as viewer care? Like, this is not your problem. This is something that we have to figure out.
I appreciate his sentiment there. One of the strong responses in the comments from his viewers was that they do care. Like, that's one of the wonderful things that actually does exist. Is it YouTube or is it just the creator ecosystem where your viewers actually, there's a connection, they really appreciate it. And I'm actually like that with other people. Like, I am invested in seeing Skallagrim succeed because I like him, I like his content, I want to see him flourish. And so I do understand where his sentiment comes from, but also seeing the response, it's very uplifting to see people very invested in that. We want to help you succeed, and that means a lot.
As creators. However, when Shad put up a video about this just recently, that did end up inspiring me to also add my 2 cents. So thank you, Shad, for
You are welcome, sir.
the nudge. Let me start out with some positive things. So first off, it kind of bothers me when people make statements like, YouTube hates creators, or YouTube does this, or thinks that, or feels that way.
He goes on to qualify why, this is one of the things that I did want to talk about.
No, it's not a person. It's not a sentient entity. It's a big business with who knows how many employees. And even the higher ups in management at YouTube, even the CEO is to an extent a cog in the machine. And they look at things from a top-down bird's eye view. So when you say YouTube doesn't care about you as a creator, in a way that's true, because it can't care. It's not an entity capable of caring. And even if individual people who work at YouTube care about individual channels, maybe, they have to look at the bottom line. They have to look at the numbers overall. Apparently the switch from a subscription-based.
So, like, I agree in terms of like an uncaring entity that can't care. When it comes to the individuals working at YouTube, I have interacted. I had like a great partner manager a little while back, and he was brilliant, and then replaced by a lovely lady. She was also great. And it really did feel like they did care, okay? But then there are the higher ups that I feel like on one side, they want YouTube to succeed, yet at the same time, we've read the quotes that they've actually been more invested in almost social engineering the world because they want people to care about what they think they should care about. That's the whole context behind the news article that Susan was pushing, everything like that. And they're invested in making people watch what they think they want to watch, everything like that. And so it seems like YouTube cares about the creators they approve of, but there are other creators that, and a lot of them, they seem to despise. And I'm talking about the individuals in the higher ups, where there are a content they consider borderline. They wish that they could just ban off the platform completely, but because they're not technically breaking the terms of service, we can't legally ban them, even though a lot of channels do get banned without breaking terms of service and things. And then they make up bullcrap excuses and stuff. Has anyone been following the Actman stuff? How his YouTube channel got yeeted for a bad joke on Twitter. It was poor taste, but the thing is, the demonetization, sorry, his YouTube channel didn't get yeeted, sorry, he got fully demonetized across the board. I mean, the response should have been, hey, get rid of the tweets. They were dumb, and they were jokes, obvious jokes. But if you're wanting to find out further context, I won't spend too much time on that. There's a rabbit hole you can dive down there. But there are channels that get monetization destroyed across the board for what seems to be arbitrary or unjustified reasons, and channels that get banned as well. And there are higher ups that actively hate many types of people and the content they make that they would love to get rid of. So I actually do feel like there's actual evidence for disdain and nefarious kind of things. Then there's the other reason as well. Even like the people, because do I think those higher ups hate me? Don't know. Depends if they've watched Night's Watch or not. If they have, I feel they would. Go check out Night's Watch if you're feeling brave. Because I know that content isn't for everyone. Absolutely. That's why I separated the content from Shadiversity. I try to make Shadiversity as welcoming to everyone. And by the way, I welcome everyone who watches me on Night Shots either. I would never say, I don't like your views or opinions, so I'm happy you don't watch me. No, I would love everyone across the spectrum to watch me. Why wouldn't I? So there's that. But there are creators that perhaps YouTube is just ambivalent towards. Does YouTube hate them? Well, I was very intentional about titling my video, YouTube hates most creators, didn't say all, but most, because it reflects the sentiment that most creators feel. We feel like YouTube doesn't like us, in the sense that it doesn't listen to us, doesn't address issues that we have been trying to get YouTube to address for ages. You know, the copyright system, the abuse that happens, people brought it up again and again and again. YouTube ignores it. None of the creators wanted the, that I've interacted with, and I've interacted a lot, none of them wanted the dislike thing to get rid of. And by the way, yeah, YouTube's agenda, that was flat out clear that it was for their agenda. They got rid of the dislikes for agenda. A lot of certain videos were getting downvoted into oblivion, and it was clear that there were petitions and that they got rid of the dislike to appease the people. I don't want to get political, but I feel it was politically motivated because it was related to the types of videos that were getting downvoted into oblivion was showing some egg on certain people's faces that, and then it was only around that point that the dislike ratio got changed. It wasn't for creators. And the sentiment really is a feeling that most creators that I interact with, that I talk with, and I talk with a lot across the spectrum, feel like YouTube just doesn't like us, the higher-ups. And so I get what Skallagrim's saying, that, hey, it's a soulless entity, a machine, the algorithm, okay? But there is active bias in it, and so I purposely titled it like that to reflect the true feelings that a lot of creators actually have. All right.
System to a recommendations-based system, which is, in my opinion, absolutely horrible. But from what I've heard, it has benefited YouTube overall in terms of engagement, watch time, etc., etc.
I don't know about that. People, right now, I accepted those statements on the face of it not too long ago, but more recently when it's black and white that YouTube actually says we have suppressed views by 70% on content we don't like and things, is like the changes they're making, I feel are actually hurting the overall views on the platform. I can really see it in my analytics because they're not chasing necessarily the money dollars, they're chasing the approval from certain corporations, they're chasing the approval of ideological groups that because they don't want to be considered hateful and all those stuff. They're chasing that type of approval and pushing certain agendas, and not chasing the money. If it was just a meritocracy, like if it was just the money, I think things would be much better. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying there are problems with corporations being overly greedy and abuses. There are problems and things, and problems could arise, but I get the impression that there'll be far less problems if YouTube was just chasing the money, honestly.
So as frustrated as I am sometimes, and as terrible as I think some of the recent changes have been at YouTube, it's not as simple as just saying, they hate us. And there have also been some good changes. Overall, I'm still...
So look, let me acknowledge some of those. Super chats are great. Good change. They've done one that you can now give to memberships. There's a good change, okay? And so YouTube has some really great features as a platform, and this is where I think some of the competing platforms need to try and look, and it'll be a hard thing, but there are features that creators are going to want to see implemented on those other platforms before they can essentially jump ship. So it points to acknowledge.
Immensely grateful for being able to do this. I'm still passionate about what I do, which is why I'm still here despite the difficulties and frustrations, etc., etc. I still love what I do, and not that many people can say that about their job, that this is something that they've always wanted to do, they love doing, and all of this. So this is
important caveat as well, like YouTube is a great job. Don't get me wrong, I love it, okay? People shouldn't think it's the greatest job in the world, though, and that it doesn't have its downsides. There is a dangerous toll that YouTubing can make on people's mental health, the whole burnout issue. If you want some insight to that, now I don't remember there was a video recently done by a guy that usually does like reviews on anime, and he did a video debunking a lot of the I'll teach you how to make content. I'll teach you how they say he's debunking how people know what the algorithm is, and I bet the chat are going to let me know who that is in a couple of seconds because the video got around. But one aspect of the video that I feel is really great is he talks about some of the mental health issues that comes to making YouTube. So if chat can let me know who that creator is and the YouTube video, I'll mention it here. Hopefully it'll come up. So it's Super Eye Patch Wolf. Thank you. Yeah, Super Eye Patch Wolf did a recent video and he talks about some of the mental health issues and stuff. There is, like, in terms of amount of hours and overtime needed to work to make something successful, I have needed to put in more overtime and more hours into my YouTube career than any other job. It's actually, this type of job is not for everyone. You need to enjoy what you make, otherwise the treadmill will just destroy you mentally, and you will not be in a better place as a result. So that's one of the issues, and I agree with iPatchWolf when he's made it, is like if you try to go into doing the YouTube game just to be successful at YouTube, and you're not making stuff you're passionately you're passionate about and that you like making, it gives you fulfillment through making it, it will eat you up and spit you out, and you're not going to last. Or there'll be exceptions. Maybe some people would, but most people know, like, it is not the best thing. It can be pretty darn rough. Not get me wrong. There are great things that's why I do it. I do love it, but both sides important to be acknowledged.
Still.
All right, so we're back, and audio echo thing.
Amazing in many ways. The community is awesome. You know, being able to express myself artistically and have an audience, and, you know, being able to, you know, swing swords and overanalyze things, like going full nerd mode, and getting paid for it is pretty freaking awesome. No doubt about it. However, it's also not as sunshine and butterflies as some people seem to think.
Basically just what I said, yeah.
It's only natural that people who haven't done it, who haven't had to deal with the negatives that come with it, have an overly rosy view of what it's like to be a content creator. And in fact, I have to admit, when I first saw Shad's video pop up, my initial gut reaction was, oh, come on, what are you complaining about? You get more views on average with...
I'm smiling because I relate to this a lot, but I'll share more on it in a sec.
Slightly less subscribers.
Buffering, I think it's because we're streaming at the same time and trying to watch a video. We'll see. Hopefully it'll catch up. Is the stream still all right? Chat, let us know if there's, like, you know, stuttering issues with the stream quality.
On our end, it says we're streaming in an excellent condition.
Oh, okay. Good. Maybe the video is just having issues.
I caught myself and realized, wait a moment. Basically doing...
All right, we're back.
Yep, everyone's saying it's all good.
It's all good? Okay. So I'll go back a little bit.
Subscribers. But then I caught myself and realized, wait a moment. Basically doing the same thing as somebody with a much smaller channel who says, well, you complain about 100,000 or 50,000 or even 30,000 views only. If when I put up, I'm happy to get 500 or whatever. It's like, yeah, it depends on your frame of reference. But I can tell you from personal...
So, yeah, frame of reference, because not multiple guys, I still do. I look at channels with half the subscribers as me that are destroying me in views, getting twice as many views and everything like that. And so Skull is absolutely right. The grass can always be greener. You can always find people doing far better with less subscribers and things. And it's really about the standard that you've been able to achieve, and that sets the kind of like, all right, this is what my audience is in. These are the views that my channel is able to bring in based on if they get recommendations and stuff like that. And that's the kind of ballpark that you can work towards or work within. And that gives you some insight when things are doing worse. Is it just less interest, or is there something happening with the algorithm and stuff? And there was a point related to that I wanted to mention, and it's one of those. It's gone. It's gone. My wife is just dropping something off. Do you want to say hi? You don't need to come on camera, but you can just yell it.
Hi, everyone.
That's the lady. But now I forgot what it was. I can't remember. That's the thing about doing it. Again, if I was filming, we was like, all right, we're shutting it down until I remember it.
Chad's already saying it's a shart.
Oh, come on, guys. Don't do that to me. But now that it's done, it's done. It's solidified. It'll be permanent on Sunday Night Swords, because I'd Streisand it or something like that, because I didn't want people to do. They're embracing it now. Damn it. Oh, well, this is what it is. It's the internet. I'm still trying to remember the other point it was. So Skallagrim was talking about point of reference and oh, I remembered, okay? Because this is the other thing, all right? I would have less issue, honestly, so much less issue with what's going on. Hey, I'm getting less views. I can live with it, you know, I'm still incredibly blessed. I can get by with what I have. If so many other people weren't reliant on me making this a success, and also wanting to grow it and expand and achieve even bigger and better things. when I started, yeah, anything that I got from YouTube was a blessing. And it's like, that's brilliant. And I was grateful for it. And I'm tremendously grateful for what I do have. But because things are different now, we have the business that needs to keep going. That's where, yeah, if things start to fall backwards, I need to almost be crisis mode. It's like, all right, what can we do to fix, correct the boat, so to speak. And that's just where things are at. All right, so I'm going back.
Experience, it makes quite a difference between consistently getting 100,000 plus per video and having several videos that get several 100,000, etc., and being often stuck at 30, 40, 50,000. It does make quite a huge difference.
Yeah, it can be shocking at times. And sometimes, so there are two big things that affect the revenue. It's ad rates, and then there are views, or monetized views. Either one can drop. And so sometimes you're getting just as many views, but the ad rates drop, and, the adpocalypse, we all kind of got hit with that. Revenue can suddenly be really bad. And then then it could be views, ad rates remain the same, views drop, of course, monetization then goes down. Even when you're doing everything you can, making the best content you've ever made, now YouTube might just still suppress your content and views. And it takes power away from creators in the meritocratic system that if you work really hard, you can achieve. Well, not when there's a third party that's actually suppressing the content, which is why, once again, we've been pushing, support on Patreon, Subscribestar, now Utreon. So we're not as reliant on ad revenue. It's not such a unstable ship where we don't know what the next month will be like. And then we can start to section off things like, okay, we have this amount, we can actually devote that to hiring a new employee, and we could, like, if we had the money, we could hire upwards of 3 people to cover work and help expansion that is ready to go, that we just don't have the means to do at the moment. And so there's plenty there to do, and that's what we could do and it's about security and trying to find a way to build things even in the current system.
Like, literally, my income is cut in half compared to last year. In fact, less than half.
Same, half. Even though my views dropped by 1/3, the revenue basically cut in half. And so views doesn't always perfectly equate to, because it's a greater drop in revenue than the view drop, but...
Depending on which month you go by. And when this is a full-time job, that's a problem, and it very much is. Again, this is not something that you would know if you haven't done it yourself, and I can't blame you at all for misjudging the situation. But
we get this ad? Oh, don't worry. I'll be talking about this, but that's for Night's Watch. You have to save it.
Thought the war at last.
Skip. So there is going to be Shadowversity content related to Rings of Power, but specifically the content that is in line with the channel. I want to do a review of the weapons and armor that was seen in the trailers and promotional images and stuff. That'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, deep dive looking at it, because there is stuff to comment on. And even skipping, yes. That still is a monetized view for Skallagrim.
Just to give you a better idea, my schedule on most days is basically get up, go to the gym, work out, come back, start researching, recording, editing, making thumbnails and other YouTube work with daily chores in between, obviously. Try to get some relaxation in the evening for an hour or two, go to bed, rinse and repeat. And cutting tests take up basically an entire day. So yeah, it's a bit more involved than occasionally turning on the camera, rambling for a bit and uploading some crap.
That was very much me before I hired editors. Hiring additional help, yeah. And I commiserate with Skallagrim, because still doing that, I remember what that was like. Doesn't mean my work day is cleared up at all. It creates different types of work that you need to do when you're got employees and things. But he's talking about the grind, basically. And I think every full-time YouTuber that's making it a living experiences this in many ways.
Obviously, other professions have problems too. I'm not trying to downplay anyone else. Like, there's always going to be like a miner who comes along like, oh, you complained about this? Come on, bitch, please. Like, yeah, I get it. There are some extremely hard, destructive jobs, much more stressful, etc. I get all that. I'm just trying to make you understand why creators have to worry about the numbers and do get stressed out by them, because, well, this is our livelihood. If you're...
Yeah, I'm really glad he acknowledges this, because, yeah, we're not saying this is the hardest job in the world by any means. There are just unique challenges that I know I've never experienced in any other job, and my workload is greater in this job than any other. But that's the thing, like, in what is encompassed in my work, I do enjoy much of it, but it is still work, like reading comments, replying to comments and things like that. I like to do that a lot. Also, trying to watch the other creators in the community, okay, to see what they're making, and also oftentimes they make content that, hey, triggers some really, you know, interesting thoughts in myself, and it's an opportunity. Do I want to add more onto it? Do I want to reply, help boost their video, have a discussion, things? And so even like, to the point that I barely have any free time. Even the video games I choose to play, I usually choose, could I make content around it, or will it help the channel? Like, I barely get to watch good TV because I have a Midnight's Watch. It's a review channel. I need to watch all this crap nowadays, and there's rarely something good. To the point, now I purposely do this. It's probably not healthy. In actual fact, it isn't good in trying to manage stress levels, so I need to figure out something a bit better, where I try and use my downtime as a means to still support the channel and business, which is still technically work for the business. So what can you do? Yeah, I should probably do better on that.
Passionate about what you do, that's the last thing you want, to quit the whole thing, especially since it took so long to build it all up. So what's the problem exactly? Why do I say YouTube is a burnout machine now? Well, when things were still subscription-based, over time, as you consistently put up content, if the content was good enough and you kept at it over and over again, try to keep improving, etc., you would build up an audience, and that audience would mostly stay with you. Of course, you lose subscribers, gain subscribers, etc., etc.
Yeah, and at the very least, usually the new subscribers replace the ones that move on, and that's normal, okay? When people say, Shad, people are just getting bored of the content, it's like that's been a normal state for every YouTuber everywhere. It's natural that people get bored of the content. The trend is people would come in to replace it. Well, actually, no, the trend is more people replace the ones leaving. At bare minimum, you want the ones just replacements to stay level. But the trend is actually growth, far more growth than losing people, because there are far more people who have not seen your content than who have. Like, look at the amount of people on YouTube, huge amount. There's vastly more people just in the world, period, who has not seen your content versus have. And so the trend should, if things are working properly, usually should always be more growth than loss. Because yeah, it'll take a very long time to get to the point where more people have seen your content than have not. And I make my content very accessible to people generally. Like, if people are usually interested in pop culture or anything like that, there's a good chance that they could really enjoy my content. This is why I don't just restrict it to swords. Nothing against people that do. Matt Easton is very focused on swords and historical context, and his videos are great. I love them. I try and make my content, and there's the occasional video he also does, and sometimes they do really well, where I watched a recent video where he talks about the best swords for Lord of the Rings. The characters, I love that video, it's great. And that can reach a broader audience because there's more people generally interested in Lord of the Rings, say, than just the historical context of swords. So that's been the state of my channel for a while, and because of that, I have been able to reach a fairly broader audience than just the strict historical sword aspect. But what the thing that I get real satisfied about is that I actually am able to introduce huge amounts of people to medieval history that might not have been interested in it otherwise, but because they like pop culture and other things like that, the fun videos attract them, and then they can actually end up really enjoying the historical aspect. And it introduces a lot of people to the medieval enthusiast culture, reenactment, HEMA, all that. And I think that's brilliant. I love that I get to fill that role, to be the point of contact for many people coming into it. But that's the thing. My content is catered to try and appeal to a very wide audience. And so to say that, you know, there's going to be a small niche of people who are only going to be interested in HEMA or swords or medieval history, that's actually not what my content is. There's that aspect of that in my content, but my content is actually made to appeal to a much huge audience. And I haven't even scratched the surface of the potential of that audience, by the way. Like, look at anyone who goes to Comic-Con potentially has an interest in my content, because I look at the realities, the complexities, the interplay, the differences between fantasy, pop culture and stuff, and realism history, and especially if it's related to swords. So yeah, just addressing that thing about rotating viewership.
Etc. Some people stop being interested.
And this is what Skallagrim does as well, by the way. I mean, he has made videos of really good quality recently, like huge amounts of editing work, and you can see some sneak peeks in the video here, where he actually plays with effects and things, and he's made videos that should be really appealing to a very wide audience, like the one on Castlevania. Like heaps of people. Castlevania was really popular. The video should have done not only better amongst his own audience, Skallagrim, should have done vastly better to the wider audience on YouTube if people were just recommended, if they were let know, I'm getting tongue-tied, if the algorithm bothered to let them know the video even existed. Because it's already proven, YouTube is not recommending content that people are actually interested in as much as it once did. No, now it's recommending content that it thinks you should watch. And also might be corporate pushed by deals on the back end, my suspicion, but I do wonder.
Or don't like you anymore, or start watching something else, or don't have the time anymore to watch, etc., etc. This is all part of the normal process. But generally, you have a certain core audience that you can rely on. So if something that you put up, maybe they're not quite as interested as you thought, or the video isn't as good as you thought, whatever it is, and you get less engagement, then okay, fine. The next one, if you try to make it better, it's going to get back up again because you have that core audience.
And I've experienced that as well. Sometimes you do make a video that's a dud. That does happen. But people who do this a lot, Skallagrim, myself, we know our core audience, and we actually have a much better understanding where most of our content, for the vast majority, are hits rather than misses. And so when suddenly all these videos that you expect to do really well because you know your audience, you know what they're interested in, suddenly are all bombing, it's like, I haven't changed the content I'm making, my audience is still here, what's going on? And that's a legitimate question that absolutely a lot of creators are asking right now.
Now, because everything is recommendations based and most people hang out in the home tab, like the standard homepage, as opposed to going to the subscriptions tab. Some people still do that, but many don't seem to. Now you get things recommended that YouTube.
I do kind of know why people do that though. The subscription tab, right? I go to it, especially since the last video, it's like, you're right. Let's go to the subscription tab, use that as the main thing. Okay. I'll probably watch maybe 25 to 50% of the videos in the subscription tab. You don't have time to watch everything, and only a certain amount is going to appeal. And I think that's the same for a lot of people. And then to find content that your subscribers are making, the people that you actually want to watch, you then need to start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's an endless list. Because there are videos Skallagrim has made 3 years back or something that I haven't watched because just when I missed, right? That is great to get notified. It's like, oh, I haven't seen that. And you watch. And you don't get that in the subscription tab. This is what the notifications should be doing. Notifications should be reviewing any video person is interested in based on the subscription and their watch history and all that stuff. It's not doing that now. It's like, no, you should watch this, not the stuff you like about it. We think you should watch this. But if it worked, the notifications tab is the convenient thing, because to find more videos from your subscribers, what should work is you can refresh, new host recommendations, instead of scrolling and scrolling and scanning through. So that's what I think people tend to gravitate towards, the homepage over the subscription page. Right now, I just have both open. I have notifications and the subscriber tab so I can see everything. And seriously, like, it happened just before coming in here. Open the subscriber tab. I saw a live stream from Matthew Jensen. He started a little live stream. He's a smaller creator. He is in the kind of area of the sword realm, like creators of the sword. He does a lot of sword reviews. I would never have gotten that notification that he was live if I didn't go to the subscription tab. Okay, and I just popped in and he was, just chatting and stuff. Didn't have time to stick around. So yeah, definitely you will miss a lot of content if you don't go to the subscribe tab.
Things you should watch. So rather than watching what you signed up for, what you knew that you're interested in, now you're getting a bunch of stuff that YouTube wants you to watch. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's totally off, whatever. So that means that there is a lot more randomness involved. There's still a smaller...
I just want to say, the previews that Skallagrim is putting in, it's like very clever, because it showcases his channel. And I'm watching this, and it's like, Skallagrim makes awesome content. Like, his channel looks friggin' metal. He does so many practical tests and fun little demonstrations, things like that. And it was a great little, showcase. And you wonder, why isn't his content doing well,
core audience. There are still people who get notifications or go to the subscriptions tab, etc., but it's much lower. So the baseline now is very much lower. I used to, even just a year or two ago, when I put up a video, the baseline was essentially, it would usually get like 50,000 views within a day. That's kind of on the lower end. Quite often it was more.
Same. That's kind of the baseline I'm trying to aim for still. It's hard to reach. Few videos do it.
And if it was a video that was really custom tailored to what I think my audience likes and is well made and everything, then it would get like 60, 70, 80,000, sometimes 100,000 just in one day. Now it's like 20,000 a day, sometimes less. And after 3 days it's like 30. And then sometimes it just creeps up slowly from there. Furthermore, and this is a big part of the burnout, you can't really account for this randomness much anymore. It used to be easier to figure out why a video underperforms. Like in hindsight, you can say, okay, maybe this video idea wasn't as good as I thought, or maybe I could have done this or that better, etc. Maybe the thumbnail or title wasn't good enough, this and that and the other. Now it just fluctuates way more because, yeah.
Yes, noticed that massively. Like, the lightsaber video of mine, 400,000. Everything else is struggling to even pass 100,000. And it's just like, what? We've talked about the reasons why. On Skallagrim's channel recently, I look at it. Well, actually, let's do that quickly. So just in case we'll lower the screen, and then I'll go to his YouTube channel just to give you a demonstration of the fluctuation he's talking about here. So we can bring it back. So the sickle video, right? Interesting video. It's done really well on his channel compared to a lot of the other videos lately. But the thing is though, for me, who is a subscriber to Skallagrim, I subscribed to him before I was even making YouTube videos, by the way, long-term fan of his content, to me, that is no more interesting than the best gauntlets for Hema, the India Dow, like all these, like the lightsaber one, like yes, let's crap on that stupid umbrella lightsaber thing because that is utter garbage. And so why is the sickle one doing so well when all the other content is just as good? To me, this is actually strong signs that I feel Skallagrim could point to that he has an audience that is still very keenly interested in his content. Otherwise, the sickle one wouldn't have done well either. He will know what the click-through rate is versus impressions and things like that. But, gee, I get the impression, pun not intended, I didn't mean it, but I'll just go with it. That crapping on the lightsaber one probably has a higher click-through rate. It hasn't done as well. And so it's fluctuating. You can't predict what's going to do well and what isn't these days. Alrighty, so we'll go back. So, yeah, we'll take it down and then we'll full screen it. We're back.
That's dependent on whether the algorithm picks up on it and actually sends it out to people and recommends it, which is, since YouTube isn't very forthcoming with transparency, we largely don't know. And I can't even really blame the higher ups at YouTube too much for it, because if they told everybody exactly how everything works and how videos get promoted and what makes the algorithm pick it up, then everybody would try to exploit it.
Yes, and so that's the line that YouTube has fed out, okay? I don't like, would it, I don't know, because there are exploitations on the platform already where, have you seen like content farms where there's like AI made children content with just random children's song with random animation and just pump it out and it's slosh and garbage? You could only abuse that type of thing with people that have no standard on what they watch, like kids. The kids will just watch trash, like especially young kids. It's got a funny little rhyme. It's got a kid, and if it's not inappropriate, I actually don't even care. Like, you know, if it's children's music with fun things happening, okay. But most of the viewers aren't bots, are they? Like I know there's bots on the platform, but most of the viewers watch good content. And so I'm wondering, if people actually knew how the algorithm would work, how much exploitation would that lead to? I'm not sure, because you can obviously tell a crap video that's a crap video. You just don't click on it, or if it fooled you, you clicked on it, you turn it off, go find something better. I don't know. It's getting to the point where I'm getting so skeptical about YouTube that I'm skeptical of even of these things that they say. It's like, if we let people know how things actually work, you know, people would exploit it. I get the impression now, it's like, if we let you know how the algorithm actually works, you would know how to make content and that would fairly compete with the stuff we're trying to push, and and we don't want that. That's the impression I'm getting now.
Not that it doesn't already happen. Obviously, clickbait is a big part of it, which is another big problem. It's relatively easy to create and maintain a large audience. That is not a happy audience because you do it via clickbait. And I mean like the worst kind of clickbait. There's sort of thing like, trip to the dentist gone sexual, you won't believe what happened then.
Stands strong.
More, even if you're skipping everything, Rings of Power, that's obviously a higher tier ad. So Skallagrim got a Rings of Power and a World of Warcraft. So it seems like at least the advertisers are targeting the right audience. It seems to be.
Lucky Shad, because my ads are garbage.
Yeah.
I keep getting this one for this gummy lolly that makes me never need to go to the dentist again, cleans my mouth completely, and it's the most annoying high-pitched voice. I am this close to buying YouTube Premium.
Really?
Just to get that off my phone.
I do not mind ads on YouTube because that's what, you know, makes a lot of livelihoods and everything. And if an ad's good, even better. And occasionally I get an ad that's a trailer I might be interested in, and I do end up watching. Then I get annoyed because I can't pause it as easy because it's an ad. And so it is what it is.
And then you find out that the video, there isn't even a dentist in the video. It's like somebody brushing their teeth. And
the importance of thumbnails and titles is more crazy now than it's ever been before. That's what largely determines click-through rate and everything. And I absolutely agree with Skallagrim. Like, bad clickbait is the stuff that lies, and like the boob dentist analogy you just gave. Okay. I think, you know, the nature of YouTube now, you have to make your videos as clickable as possible. My line is never make it dishonest. Try and show give an insight what the video is, attract people. And so that's the nature of what you gotta do nowadays. And I'm not the best with thumbnails. I think I do a decent job, but I know other people do vastly better. And though I don't know. Look, can we take this down just for a second? Because to me, I can only judge based on my own preferences, right? So if we bring up my YouTube channel, okay, some thumbnails in my, is it up? Is it up? Are we getting there? Oh no, has it reset?
I've broken it.
You've broken it.
I've broken it.
Okay.
Oh.
Let Nathan fix that. I'll talk a little bit what I talk about, and once it's back up, I can give you the examples. Some of my thumbnails I feel are much better than the other based on my own judgment. How representative is my judgment versus the broader? Because sometimes it's baffling. Though there might be an answer to this now. Sometimes I thought, why is this video getting clicked so much? Because I think the thumbnail is nowhere near as good as it could be or as good as other videos. And sometimes I just chalk that up to maybe I just can't judge. There's something that the broader audience on YouTube are seeing in this thumbnail that's making them click that wouldn't get me to click. But now, because when I look at the click-through rate, the actual statistic that gives you how much people do click, and the fact that I have videos that have done way better with lower click-through rates because the algorithm just pushed it so crazy much. Remember, the lightsaber video, 20 million impressions versus the boob armor video, which has more views with half the amount of impressions. The boob armor video, just by obviously the subject, but also the thumbnail and stuff, is a far more clickable video than the lightsaber one. And it's not just because the lightsaber one was recommended to a broader audience. Remember, I can bring up the graph. The click-through rate is consistent across the board, and the boob armor one is better click-through rate the whole way across. Have you fixed it, Nathan?
Yeah, it's all fixed.
It's all fixed? Okay, so looking at these thumbnails, right? The Dungeons & Dragons one, honestly, I think is one of the crap worst thumbnails I've done recently. That was a dog. I wanted to convey the shooting sword thing. That's one of the biggest, funniest moments in the video where I'm reacting to that. So I wanted to integrate that, but it was a blurry image. It was really hard. I went through like 10 thumbnails and it was all crap. And the video had to go out. I was like, all right. And by the way, I spend between 1 to 4 hours just on making one thumbnail for a video. Thumbnails I spend a lot of time on. This is just some of the grind and workload that people don't see behind the scenes. Yes, hours just to make a thumbnail. And this thumbnail, in my opinion, is crap. But the video is doing really well. I think it's because either it is trending, but now I'm dubious about what is actually trending now. But YouTube is obviously pushing it more, and it's a main piece of mainstream media content, so I wouldn't be surprised. D&D is popular. I think a lot of my audience is interested in my reaction to it, so there's a number of things. But there are thumbnails on here that, in my opinion, are way better than a lot of thumbnails that I feel like if I saw that, I would, and sometimes you can actually see in the comments where people like, I see that video and then they type, I am speed, click. I get that reaction too, where I am speed, I have to see a click, right? There are some thumbnails that if I saw this on another channel, my reaction would be like that. One of them is the Knights vs. Dinosaur one. If I saw that, I'd be like, okay, I have to see that. To me, that's one of the better thumbnails I've made recently. Forgotten City of Castles. I do love castles. That would really, I have to check it out. The Knights vs. Dinosaur one, I actually have that here, has a pretty high click-through rate. It's above average, 30% of my average. This was actually sitting on 4-point-something%, but across the board, much higher click-through rate than like the lightsaber one. And so my judgment on it is actually correct. This is a better thumbnail, more interesting title, more people are clicking on it. And so you think like, so I compare some of the videos that are on the trending tab and some of the thumbnails, and people sometimes attributed that they are masters of thumbnails. And perhaps they are, but there are some thumbnails I look like, no, that's crap. And then I look at some of my thumbnails, I think some of my thumbnails are even way better on my own judgment, and the statistics seem to bear that out. So then how important are thumbnails and titles if the algorithm is going to be suppressing and not recommending it as much? It's still obviously very important for what you can get. You know, just a bit of a sidetracking point. We'll get back to the video now.
There's nothing remotely sexual, and you know what I'm talking about all too well. In fact, I could have titled this video,
how can you say there's nothing remotely sexual when you just put your face in the thumbnail? You can't avoid it, man. You're just a beast of masculinity. Sorry. This is one of those jokes I would test in a video and then we would see if it worked. and I don't think it worked, and I would have cut, but now I just can't help it. So, oh well. I have to live my cringe humor, and that's it forever out there.
I don't know how much time I have left, meaning how much time on YouTube successfully, but that could be read as some medical condition. Oh, he's dying, and this sort of clickbait, which I've always hated, despised with a passion, but that's rewarded. But that's also rewarded on other social media platforms. It's also rewarded in journalism, very tragically and unfortunately. Now, being a YouTuber has never been 100% controllable, obviously. There have always been plenty of variables. There's always been a chance that a video that you spend a long time researching and editing, that you put tons of effort into, just fizzles out, never goes anywhere, and then you put up some low effort shit post and it goes viral. That's always been a thing, but it's way more pronounced now. It's really hard to predict anything. I used to be fairly good at predicting things because, I mean, of course, I've been on YouTube since 2007.
Same across the board. Like, I could be saying the same thing. Like, you're speaking for me here at this point, mate. Yeah, totally. And it's really discouraging when the videos you put in heaps of effort into and they just bomb, and it's just like, makes you wonder, why bother trying? But it's because this is the thing, the people that do watch the videos that have their higher effort in, they do appreciate, they comment, and that gives me fulfillment, even if the video doesn't do as well as I had hoped it would. Yeah, but then there's the sharing thing. Usually videos that do have better quality, more effort, they share it and it gets the views. Like my video where I redesigned Winterfell, I designed Winterfell as a 3D model according to the books. It didn't do particularly better than my other videos at the time upon release, but I put so much effort into that one, months of work, that people saw it, they could see it, and as a result, they really liked it, and it got shared heaps and heaps to the point where I think that video's at 1.5 million. And so the sharing is one of the satisfying ways that videos with effort still can reach, but it is, to achieve that, we need you guys to share the content you like. And so thank you to everyone who does do that.
So over time, you get better at recognizing certain trends, at figuring out what works and what doesn't, what topics are popular, what formats and presentations work well, etc., etc. Now, nope, I've had a bunch of videos lately that I was convinced would do well.
Exactly the same. I know I've already ranted about that. My original video was about that. It's like videos that should have done well. And Skallagrim, so many people are experiencing the same thing.
Because I figured you people are interested in it, and I put a lot of effort into it, and thumbnail and title, and nuh-uh. So that of course contributes enormously to burnout. For one, the stress spike every time, because after I've had 3 or 4 videos that did poorly, and as
It's okay, chat. Nathan's fixing it.
Nathan's fixing it. He's on top of it. I noticed it then. That was me. Can you hear me on Nathan's mic? Switching audio keeps breaking shares. Sign language. I don't know sign language. Can they hear me through Nathan's mic? So, is it connecting? Hi, Shad. Yeah, I can hear you on Nathan's. Barely, you scallywag. All right, should be connected. Let me know if you can hear me now. All right. Yes, boss. Only just yell louder. Nope. We're back, baby. We're back. You can hear me. Okay. Let me explain. This is actually my fault. I'm using a lapel mic. Usually on live streams and at the table, we use this thing, if you can see. It's a shotgun mic. The lapel mic gets better quality, and I thought, hey, let's do better quality for Sunday night swords. But that, I didn't tell Nathan right until before we were beginning, and so he didn't have prep time. We just plugged it in, and the batteries are low and they're going dead, and that's what we've been running to. My fault, I dumped it on him, but we're back. Okay, yes, we're all happy, you can hear me. Now, what was I saying on Skallagrim? I forget the point that I was, so I'll go back and re-listen to it. Hopefully that'll remind me.
Because like, after I've had like 3 or 4...
That's what I was going to say, is the stress thing that Skallagrim was kind of talking about. With how things have been going lately, unfortunately, you can get a very clear indication of how a video will do over its first week in the first 10 minutes. I'm not kidding. This is how consistent it has been in terms of click-through rate, and the algorithm should be able to pick up on this as well, by the way. It takes only 10 minutes to actually see what people, the initial, recommendations, how people are reacting to it, click-through rate. You don't need watch time at that point to then trigger, oh, people want to watch this video, I'll recommend it more. The algorithm hasn't been doing that. To the point there where, based on the arbitrary place, the algorithm seems to randomly put the video upon release in the first 10 minutes, right? Being an accurate indicator for how the video will do in the first week. Rarely have videos just picked up after or changed the trajectory from the first 10 minutes. And so when you have a video that's sponsored, that you have an obligation to try and achieve so much, and you're about to click the publish and you're just wondering, holy crap, what's going to happen? Is this video going to do well? Is it going to do bad? It's actually very stressful because you can't be... you can't trust the system anymore. You don't have any reliability to feel confident that, yes, this is sponsored, put on the video. And so that just adds a major stress point upon upload time.
For videos that did poorly, and as a result, ad revenue nosedives, and I'm starting to get worried about the financial situation. Every time I put even more effort into it, and I'm thinking, okay, this video, this is going to be the comeback, this is going to do it. And every time it bombs, it's an enormous stress spike because I feel powerless. I feel like whatever I...
Amen, brother. Holy crap. Yes, like, that's been one of the difficulties recently, is trying to manage the stress of it all. Yeah.
I do, it's not enough, it doesn't matter, I can't fix this, and this is going to go to hell. Which is almost like a form of learned helplessness, where your sense of self-efficacy suffers because it's just out of your control, seemingly. Like everything you try, it just doesn't quite work. Or sometimes when something does work out very well, you can't reproduce it, and it's just a lot of guesswork, and it feels like you're not really getting ahead. Because ideally, as a creator, what you would like is expand your audience, not struggle desperately to retain it and then still lose out and get less.
That's the point I was making before. Yeah, ideally you want to grow, not just struggle to barely claw onto the bits that you have.
Less views and engagement over time. Again, I'm sorry if this comes across as...
And so, for myself, I've been trying to think outside the box to try and find areas of growth so I can push to the part where I want to make culture, make more, write more, I want to write more, but also graphic novels, animations, even games and stuff. And so that's why I've been making the other YouTube channels, okay? Expanding content, find areas for growth, and even more. But right now we're kind of on the limits, but with the growth of the other channels, hopefully they will pick up, and then that'll give us more options and stuff. So I'm trying to think outside the box. I'm putting in plans to help things continue to grow. And at the moment, because of the outswell of support, so thankful to everyone. That's also really helped correct the ship, is that the term? To help things get back on track, to keep pushing forward. I don't know if it'll ebb off though, because there's a great swell of support. YouTube is still doing it. The YouTube hasn't changed, and so things could just fall back into what it has. We'll see what I can do to try and recorrect things if that happens again. Yet at the same time, even if I'm able to correct the ship, so to speak, and get things back on track, the problems on YouTube still exist, and there are so many other creators that are suffering, and that sucks, because I look at them, I look at Skallagrim, I look at all the other great creators, heaps of people, heaps of creators outside of our community have recently just been getting shafted by YouTube in the recommendation system, the views, and part of it is, like I talked about in my other live stream, is that there seems to be more recently an emphasis on shorts and live streams. But hey, look what I'm doing. I want to do, and live streams I get. Live streams can be really fun, and I'm like, I was actually, I didn't expect, because I don't know, I don't like lots of work, lots of, burden, me trying to maintain. And so I was worried that adding more onto my workload was going to make it worse. But I was actually looking forward to this live stream all week. I enjoy it. I love interacting with you guys. So that's really good. And I want to make it a regular thing. Sunday Night Swords, baby. All right. Continue.
Whiny and I don't know, whatever. Again, it's not your problem. It's just, I felt like talking about it. Maybe it's just venting. Maybe it's just ranting.
No, there's definitely something going on. Skallagrim isn't the only one, and it's irrefutable in my mind at the moment. Like, look, remember, I just if I bring up like that, you see that, okay? It's like something changed, bang. Instant, no gradual decline or anything like that, just the new status quo. It's like, no, something is going on. And we know there's something, because there's quotes of YouTube literally saying, yes, we're suppressing content. We have a list, a ranking system for content we approve of. So it's not just you, it's not just ranting.
But I don't know, maybe somebody finds it interesting. I have basically no hopes that anybody, any higher up at YouTube would ever see content like this and think.
And that's why I said it feels like YouTube hates us, because they ignore legitimate concerns, all right? You know, and I have met people who work at YouTube that do care about creators. My partner managers were really good. I don't have one at the moment. There's less connection with YouTube and all that. And then, yeah, they do things that actively hurts the creator sphere. And look, they do the occasional thing that does improve things, but likes and dislikes, copyright issues, now suppression, pushing shorts, trying to make YouTube everything when it's not. It's not Twitch, it's not TikTok.
Oh, well, we should really change something and try to fix this problem. I don't think so. But what else can we do? The only thing we can do is try harder and harder and harder and keep at it and try to deal with the burnout. And by the way, I do also see the positive in this. If there's constant pressure and I'm being forced to rethink everything and constantly try to improve, that's great. You don't want to stagnate.
If it leads to improvement, okay? Because at the moment, doubling down on shorts, I don't think is necessarily an improvement. Look, I've already said I don't like shorts. I'm actually on the fence about doing them. A couple of people have actually reached out, offering editing services that I might be able to get them to edit shorts, which would be in addition to everything else. I'm on the fence. Let me know, actually. I'm going to go chat. I'd like to just get, and I know chat isn't a perfectly representative example of everyone, but yes, I don't watch shorts because this is the thing. It wouldn't replace my content. It would be in addition to, but I go out of my way not to click on shorts because I know as soon as I click on one friggin' short, I'm going to be flooded with all these friggin' shorts that I don't bloody want. Yeah, so I hate shorts. They don't replace videos. So some say do shorts because this is the other thing that might help. There are people who do like shorts. I'm not the only one. What are you smiling at?
I've been watching chat this whole time you've been watching, and as soon as chat knows that you're reading chat, it explodes. It's gone 10 times faster than it's been for most of this. But yeah, most people are saying they don't like shorts. Yeah. My same suggestion as last week would be to maybe do behind-the-scene things.
Well, I could use shorts as little promos to the larger content. This is where I could see there might be some, as reluctant as I am to admit it, because you know I hate shorts, there might be something helpful with shorts as sneak peek promos to the larger content, and it could attract people who aren't necessarily interested in really long content. They get the preview and then they say, okay, now I do want to watch the longer content, and then they have a look. So it's people saying it brings in views.
I'm going to do a poll. Chat's asked for a poll.
Okay, we have a poll. I have a feeling it's going to more largely be no. Remember, it's in the context that it's not going to replace, and it might help bring in new views as a preview thing. And what I would say, if I do end up doing shorts and people hate them, don't watch them. I'm like that as well. I avoid watching shorts. I'd be only doing this for potentially new viewers, maybe. But we'll see. See, so I was like, sure, do some shorts, go for it, won't click them. Yeah, I get that. No obligation to, guys. The thing is, though, if I did do shorts with some of the people that reached out that are willing to edit shorts for me, that I can, so it's contract work that I can outsource, so it doesn't increase our editing load, I could potentially do upwards of like 5 to 10 shorts a week. Guys, just be aware of the monster that you might unleash here. I have a backlog of, what, 700 videos now, okay? And I could outsource like 2 videos a week, just if I pick like 2 videos a week to make shorts content out of, in like, it'll be fun, clippy, the highlight reel kind of stuff, right? There is so much content there that could easily produce 5 to 10 shorts a week on top of what's already out. Are you sure that's the what you want to unleash? What?
The poll has reached 52% yes.
Oh!
And I think most people are saying do it for the sake of having to do it.
Someone's saying release the Kraken. Oh my goodness. Look, I'll have to see if we can afford it, because it's outsourcing contract work. So it is an additional expense. So we will, all right, more of you are on board, willing to consider it than I thought. Sounds like more content to fill in gaps. Don't threaten us with a good time. If you like it, you know, some people do like shorts. Maybe I'm just being boomer as well. I'm just like one of those old crotchety guys, like, this is shorts. I get that. I'm stubborn like that. So, but 2% is too close. Revote. It was close. It was close. That is right. It's not really massively in favor or against. It's pretty down the line, isn't it? So I would say for people who don't want it, don't click. You know, no, but that's the problem. They flood everything like a virus. I don't know, because YouTube is not prioritizing other content because it's pushing short so much, okay? And this could be an adapt or or die scenario. And I have the capacity to adapt and incorporate shorts on top of what I'm doing. Yeah, they get everywhere like locusts. It's like sand. Anakin would hate it. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. So I'm not completely, like I said, you know, there might be a necessity to appease the crappy algorithm, and we'll see. We'll see. No, we'll continue on with the video. Thank you for the feedback, chat. I appreciate it.
Nate, you don't want to become complacent. You want to keep pushing the boundaries. You want to keep developing personally and make better videos and keep reaching. Always when something didn't work quite as well, when the numbers weren't quite right, people have always said, just do what you want. Just, you know, it'll come, you know, views will come, and we're here and this and that, which is, you know, I appreciate that. It's supportive, it's well-intentioned. You know, it's great and all, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. At this point, I've been
content quality on YouTube has been raising. The longer YouTube is as a platform, the content quality has been increasing, and there's a higher competition. But if you can make content that is of good quality, you will compete. Skallagrim is doing that. I think I'm doing that. But if I was making videos of the level of quality when I started, and I was making that quality now, I'll be, outcompeted pretty quickly. So, having said that, I know there are channels that are not nearly as polished as mine that are doing, not only are they doing well, I think they should be doing even better, because when I say polish, having a backdrop or a good camera, isn't everything. An adequate camera, an adequate sound is fine if the delivery and the person making the content can produce stuff that's engaging. That's half the battle. In actual fact, I think that's one of the problems that all the people, like YouTube has become one of the most desired jobs in the world now. Like if you ask kids what do they want to be when they grow up, YouTuber is one of the top things. And so there's heaps and heaps of people trying to be a YouTuber. And this is that video by like the eye patch wolf gentleman guy, good video, where he calls out those tutorial scams where you have to you pay and they will teach you how to make great content and you'll be making things. It's a really good video, and he shows that there's a part of testimonials where people saying these videos are great, they help me out. Only like one of those testimonials are still making content, because knowing the process, knowing how to work within the system, knowing how to make thumbnails, knowing how to title, knowing how to look at trends, and knowing how to all that is only half the battle. Half of it is actually having the presence or ability to speak on camera naturally in a way that is enjoyable to listen to. Sometimes you can overcome shortcomings in those areas if you're just really factual, really good quality, like it is. But those do tend to be the exceptions. And those are things that are much harder to try and teach people. And there's a lot of people devoting all this time on YouTube that not everyone can do it, unfortunately. There is a skill requirement aspect of this, which is in part presence on camera. And there are people that smash me. They're funnier, they're more charismatic. But then there are people who do it and they try way too hard and it just comes off fake. Like, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing this. I can't stand that. Don't do that. Well, just be yourself. That's one of the big things about YouTube. You can be authentic and you can be watchable. That's half the battle. And so that's the quality aspect that a lot of people can reach without needing the money. If you got the thing, is it the it factor? But it's not the crappy, pop culture, Hollywood it. And it's YouTubers and people who watch the platform, they prize authenticity nearly above all else. And that's one of the big selling features about YouTube content creators, I think, if you're actually authentic. You're smiling, Nathan. What are you smiling?
People loved your impression.
Oh, yeah.
They loved it. They're like, oh, give me that again.
Oh, no, you recognise it.
Everyone agrees. Everyone's like, oh.
I can't stand it. It's, and, yeah. We shall continue.
Punished many times for making a video that I really wanted to, that I really felt, that I was enthusiastic about. But the algorithm disagreed, it disapproved, and it cast it aside, and it didn't go anywhere. And the problem is, every time you put up something that doesn't...
So there are videos that I just know are not going to perform as well as others, because for me, not always. I love it when there's an exception. Sometimes I think because it's going to be a more factual historical video, it doesn't perform well. But I remember that's what I thought was going to happen with my video on medieval inns and accommodation and stuff. I thought, look, it's much more a factual historical thing. That video did great. People really interested. So the interest in even more factual historical things sometimes surprise me. And I should maybe check my assumption about ones related to pop culture will always do better. It is the trend, though. Pop culture related videos, the trend usually do better than factual historical ones. And then there are videos that I just want to do because I'm interested in it and might not necessarily do as well. And so what I try to do to try and fit that content, the passion content that might not do well, maybe it's unknown, I usually do that as midweek uploads. Because I still, I love the history aspect aside, and that's one of the things, cornerstones of my channel. So even if they perform less, still always going to do it. And then there are those passion ones as well. So for me, I need to try and balance it. Passion ones against ones that have a high chance of doing it. But then there are ones that I just know wouldn't do, like they would crater almost. And so I'm more reluctant to do those ones. Occasionally I do
so well, subsequent videos do worse than they otherwise would. Now, this is something that in official YouTube statements has been denied. They have said, no, this is not how the algorithm works.
Skallagrim is bringing up a really good point here, because this is true. Almost every creator that is uploading has seen this and confirmed that if one video does really poorly, that can create a trend where the next one isn't as recommended as well, unless it's something that could really catch their attention. And so Skall is about to contradict it through evidence that he has seen directly. And so what I'm wanting to point out is, like, YouTube seems to just flat out lie to creators sometimes. Oh, we're not doing this. We're not prioritizing content, even though there's quotes of the CEO saying they do. Oh, we don't prioritize content. This won't affect it. It's like, you know. Look, is it ignorance instead of malice? Is it not lying? It's just that some people actually don't have the memo and they actually honestly believe that's the case and they say it is, but when creators hear it, we know that's not the case blatantly. And so, yeah, Skallagrim's about to contradict one of the things that YouTube has said.
But wait a moment. That is literally how this system works. It's fueled by recommendations. The algorithm recommends to people more of the same that they've watched. So if they don't watch this video, then next time, guess what? The algorithm picks that up and gives them less.
It's exactly what was happening to me. It creates a feedback loop, like a negative feedback loop, where fewer people are watching, fewer recommendations leads to fewer people watching, to the point where before I dropped the YouTube video, which was ballistic because it was somewhat inflammatory, but not in the negative way, but it was like challenging and stating something pretty aggressively, got a lot of interest, so much that it broke through the suppression, brought back a lot of views. Before then, though, so many people were just not, legitimately, I got multiple comments of people saying they thought I had stopped uploading. It wasn't that they weren't interested, but because videos weren't there, they just thought I wasn't uploading, I had gone on holiday or something like that. That is shocking. These are people who wanted to watch my content, would have watched it if it was recommended, but not. It's categorical, that's how it works. If you don't click on, and I know with my own recommendations, if I don't click on, certain creators regularly enough, I know I'm going to get recommended less of their content. So I go out of my way to make sure, I need to make sure I watch one video from this creator. So I make sure I get the recommendations on future videos. And I more regularly need to go to the homepages of the creators I want to make sure I catch. And so part of my YouTube viewing these days is not just homepage and subscription, it's actually going to the actual homepages to see what past videos I might have missed. So yeah, the line that YouTube says, if a video does badly, it's not going to affect views, that's bullcrap, and we know it is.
Of that which they didn't watch, or watched less of, or whatever. This is literally how that works. And it is very noticeable. I can see that over and over again in the analytics, which are weird anyway. I keep seeing in the analytics when a video completely underperforms by the standards that I've come to expect to be able to, or used to be able to. And it says, oh, your video is performing as usual. No, it's not. It's completely underperforming. So that...
Yeah, happened recently with this, right? And so compared to previous months, all my videos recently been underperforming, but the trend of what is normal performance is only in the last month, really. That's what the analytics. And so if anyone tries to gauge how well my channel is doing in only the last 2 months, they'll think your views are consistent. There's no drop there. It's like, oh, really? There's no drop in views? Take it back a bit further. Now tell me if there's no drop.
Suggests to me that the algorithm that also informs those analytics has come to the conclusion, so to speak, that, oh yeah, this is just the average views that this channel gets.
Who wants to be the first to introduce the Dungeons and Dragons Honor 'em?
You get a D&D ad as well, Skallagrim. Get good ads.
Among Thieves trailer.
Sounds like you just did.
No, I didn't.
This is one I would like. All right, what's going on? I like Chris Pine, but we're not here to watch a trailer. Skip him. Makes me want to see what ads are reading on my videos at the moment. It's like,
Well,
what?
it's
So
a
what?
recent thing.
He's got Lord of the Rings. He got World of Warcraft and D&D. Those are good targeted ads right there.
It did much better in 2021, even also 2020. As terrible of a year as it was overall, in terms of YouTube, my channel actually did quite well. And then it did even better for most of 2021 until something happens. Something weird happens. I have no idea why, but I started noticing these enormous dips. They came more or less out of nowhere. There's been like some tendency maybe, but also pretty sudden things. Particularly around September, I noticed that, okay, everything was down. Views and ad revenue and everything was down. So my usual response is, I gotta work harder. I gotta make better content. So
I was thinking of talking a little bit about this later, but it's kind of come up in the flow of the video, so I might show it now because it's something interesting. So if you could lower that screen, Nathan, because I need to go searching to bring up an image, because I want to talk about what you're doing is helping, but you can see an interesting thing. So let me see. So those are those. I might just need where did I save this? Oh, here it is. Let's see if it'll let me open it. It's a Photoshop should be working on this. I've only saved it as a PSD, so I'll bring it up because I screenshotted it and I put here. So my video on medieval medicine. It's telling me I have to sign in. Is it down? Nathan, quickly interact with the chat while I sign in, if you could.
Okay, chat. For the few seconds that Shed has graced me with having the responsibility of running the stream. You all say so many topics in the chat. Someone said they can't wait for Wakanda Forever, lol. I think later in the week we're going to do lots of reactions to those trailers, because I feel like there's a lot to say there with all of those.
Oh, yeah.
The new She-Hulk trailer. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Someone else has suggested further back saying that, maybe videos don't perform as well, we should prioritize shorts for them, or teaser shorts. If ones don't perform as well, maybe that'll bring in more views. Interesting to see if that would work at all.
Maybe.
You've got it up now?
I have it up. So, for the untrained eye, you might not get much from this information. So I'd like to explain some. This is the real-time tracking of my video on medieval medicine. And what it actually reveals is something quite both intriguing and encouraging. And so right out of the gate, in the first couple of minutes, the video was underperforming. The exact same as many other ones. It was getting suppressed. It was not getting recommended to nearly as many viewers. Now, what's important about this, right? This was just upon release. This was before the algorithm could really even check click-through rates or watch time to determine how much it will recommend. This is right upon release. And so that initial first spike on the real-time tracking lets you know how much the algorithm has bothered to even look at this video. Very low. It started out very low, so I was like, even with the support, all the people coming back and everything, the algorithm is still doing what the algorithm does. Okay, then people started to share it, because remember I've been asking people to share, comment, subscribe, and so it got up, and what you see here, it starts and then it started to decline. And this is the first interesting thing. The normal trend on real-time tracking after release is usually a consistent ratio. Usually either, if it's declining, it'll usually consistently decline and come down here. So it'll go down like this. Rarely does it go up. I'll probably have maybe 2% of my videos actually go up in views after the initial burst. But sometimes it does. Something like this is even more rare, because what you see here is almost a battle of going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And what you see here is going down and then it got shot up. What that is, that was you guys sharing it. That was recommendations. Then it dropped. Then you guys shared it again. And see this incline right here? That is not something... So either if it's algorithmic increase, it's consistent usually, and it'll go in a fairly consistent wave. When it's shared like this, that's what you see. This is the type of thing. And it got shared a lot, algorithm dropping it off. See how much it was dropping here? Then it got shared again. And this is literally a battle between the algorithm trying to suppress the video and you guys pushing back and sharing it. So it means the world. Dropped off, shared again. Dropping off, shared again. And so if we look down here, you can see how sporadic that is. Right there. That's all thanks to you guys. This video would have done vastly worse, and it's still actually done poorly compared to the standard I'd like to achieve, but it's done... Those losses were mitigated a lot thanks to everything you guys are doing. The sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that actually does help. This is the evidence for it. What you were doing really was helping that video against the suppression, which I got to watch in real time. I was like watching it happen. Thank you guys, appreciate it. And so I just want to mention that because I thought of it while here. So, all right, we're back with Skallagrim. Yep. Okay.
In October, I worked like a maniac to increase the overall production value and quality and everything. Because this is a one-man show, I do everything myself, so I had to put quite a bit more time into it. And I was punished for it because October ended up literally the worst performing month of the entire year.
Exactly the same. The video where I did the sword guillotine one, I worked like a maniac to get that content out, to get the fights in autopsy out. The sword guillotine, we made a sword guillotine. We were working to make the actual thing, and also filming and editing. Worked my butt off to get, I think, 3 to 4 videos out that week. There was a lot of content. And that was me, like, that. What was happening is like I was seeing views decline. All right, double down, hammer out the content, work as hard as you can. And they did worse. Like, it's soul crushing, especially when you put in all that extra effort and the algorithm just, and it's just, I experienced the exact same thing as Skull is talking about here.
And that's when my burnout really intensified. I had an extremely hard time staying motivated after that in November and December. In particular, I was just down, I was depressed, I was, again, I'm not gonna bother you too much with my personal problems. It's not your problem. But it's just, it shows that there's something wrong, right? So what I'm trying to say is this stifles creativity, because sometimes I have an idea that I quite like, something that I would really like to do, that I'm creatively motivated for, and then I decide afterwards, no, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna do well enough anymore. It would have earlier, but now it doesn't. So I also sometimes just waste time like this, where I spend like 4 or 5 hours preparing something, researching and starting on a video, only to then stop for a moment and be like, no, this is gonna fail, I feel it. So stop, throw everything overboard, discard, redo. I really need an editor technically, just...
It helped me out a lot when I got a full-time editor and stuff, and so I think Skull already knows this.
I always think, well, then I have to find someone probably.
Yeah, that is, he's about to explain. It's tricky finding the right person, finding someone to learn the editing style and stuff.
Go through several people until I find somebody who does things exactly the way I want, and I have to explain to them how I want it. I have to shove files back and forth. So, which at first takes even more time, so I just end up doing it myself. It's not ideal, but not I'm really getting too tangential. So, yeah, once again, I very much appreciate being able to do this. I'm grateful for the audience I have. I love what I do, but it's pretty rough as well at times. It can be very much stressful. It can be discouraging, and I tend to swing back and forth between jaded and frustrated and defiant and motivated. Just like this, okay, I'm gonna crush it this time. And apparently I did with the sickle video. That was the first one that really took off in a long time. That
To me, that's actually strong evidence that there's a lot of people still very interested in Skallagrim's content, okay? All the algorithm needs to do is give them a chance, because the sickle one is doing great.
first one that actually performed the way videos used to. So
Yeah, back in the day, all videos performed like that. Same with me. All my videos were actually minimum getting 150,000, between 150 and 200,000. That was the standard. So Skallagrim is perfectly, like, he gets it as well. That should actually be every video, and every video has the potential to do that if the audience just got given the, knowledge that it's there. That was me knocking my phone.
there's hope, I guess. Anyway, this was too long.
It wasn't. That was a good video, Skala. Now we're at the end. He brings up a lot of points, and it's just one additional, person amongst all these other creators that are experiencing the same thing. YouTube has done something recently that's screwing over a lot of creators, and it is getting worse. There's a lot of evidence for it. This is just one amongst many, but it also made me think and I want to respond and confirm what he's talking about as well. So, there we go. What we'll do now, we'll jump onto Super Chats. We'll start wrapping things up. All right, so we'll bring that down and interact a bit with the chat. It's been a great stream. And like I said, regular. Try and book the time, everyone. Sunday nights for the US, Monday mornings to early after, I don't know the exact time because which side of the US as well. But try and book the night if you want to catch every stream. And we've named it Sunday Night Swords, baby. Okay. Let's go through some of these super chats, Nathan.
I'm going to take a big sip of water so I can get through all these ones because I know there's a few. Okay.
Sorry, just before we say that, I'm watching chat. Nerd Cookie says, yep, my channel is just piddling along right now, but I'm just going to grind. I appreciate you talking about this stuff. My pleasure, Nerd Cookies. She makes great content, guys. Check her out if you want lore videos and things. Nerd Cookies is awesome.
So does it show on yours?
So,
do you have your super chats? Because mine have disappeared.
Oh no, really? Don't tell me that. So there should be a thing.
So yours are there.
Yeah. No, they just disappeared on me. What the hell?
YouTube, what are you doing?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, we'll try and go back because there were a few that are still up because there were quite a lot.
Yeah.
We'll go through them now. So the one I have here is from Jack Berg with $200. Thank you very much, Jack. He said, hello, my brother in Christ. Thank you for making so many videos about the medieval era. I've used them for making my own settings, and you've inspired me greatly. Do you have any information or videos about medieval city sizes, populations? Thank you again, and God bless.
Thank you very much for the huge super chat. Really appreciate it. In terms of information on medieval cities and stuff, it varies. It's interesting what got classed as a city. Sometimes communities far smaller than you might expect got classed as a city. It wasn't always by population. Is it not Carcassonne? It might be Carcassonne. I forget the name. This is one of the ones I'd want to look at my references to go deep and everything like that. So it honestly varied, and it honestly varied by region as well as to what was considered a city and not. So there's a bit of options to look at. You'll need to look up multiple different sources. Yeah, bit of a larger topic, but like I said, that's what I can share at the moment. It varied. All right, next one.
Next one we have. Just make sure I'm getting that. Yeah, next one's from Grace Score. Again with $200. Thank you very much. Who said, "Go forth and make castles. I'd love to see more medieval fantasy related content, perhaps more art history. And what about dragons?"
Oh, absolutely. So I'd like to see more
more medieval festival-related content.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got 3 other videos filmed at the Medieval Festival coming out. One midweek, and I have 2 other videos after that. They're all, I love them all. I think they're all great. I'm looking forward to you guys checking them out as well. And I'll be trying to get to the festival regularly on top of that. And so we'll, there'll be an annual kind of festival-like video drop, essentially.
Awesome. Next one's from Bryce, who said, "Been watching your channel for years, and I've always enjoyed your content. Keep up the great work. I was right there with you over the Discussed with the Wheel of Time series. It's my favourite book series, and I hate how they adapted it."
I was so disappointed with the Wheel. Well, if you've seen my reactions on Night Watch, there's no mystery about that. Thank you for that super chat. So I appreciate it.
Next one is from Kiki's Art Journey, who said, I found it can help to go to the channel page, hit the play all, and let your favourite YouTubers play on repeat in the back. Turn the sound to almost off, but not full off. Something. This is helping small channels, basically. A method of when recommendations aren't going the way that you want them to, just having a playlist in the background of your favourites hopefully will help YouTube.
Thank you for the super chat. My wife does that. She'll chuck autoplay on the bedroom TV and just let it play through my videos.
Okay, we've got some smaller ones. The bigger ones have disappeared, and
I'm so sorry about that, guys.
If you can give me 5 minutes, I'll see if I can find them.
Yeah, there should be a thing in the back end that keeps all super chats recorded, and we had it up, but now they've disappeared, and so
I found them.
Found them, all of them. We got them all.
Yes,
we got them all, baby.
I wanted to see if I can rank them from. YouTube, why?
What has it done?
How hard is it? I just want them to list them through the price range.
Yeah.
So we can go from the most expensive to the
You're going to have to scroll. So what we'll do, we're committed to try and read out everyone's that's 50 and above, and then we'll get to as many as we can after that. So Nathan's going to scroll through and catch any that we missed.
Okay, I found one here from Crying Hawk, who said, "Just felt like saying thanks for all the work you put into your videos over the years. I enjoy your content. Thank you so much. Keep it up, you marvelous man."
Thank you, Crying Hawk. It means the world to me, and it gives me a lot of motivation, enthusiasm, because there's an audience that does enjoy this content, wants it more, and they're encouraging me to keep going. And of course, I will.
One from Fimba Hooley with $100. He said, "One point of criticism as you increase streaming is, while I understand you're busy, I do agree with Critical Drinker that it's not ethical to take super chats without acknowledging the message, even if it was EFAP style, where the catch up was another stream."
Yeah, look,
nice.
This is tricky because you can get so many super chats that would be the whole stream to read them out. And so, as I mentioned in the last stream and this one, is if you do want a super chat, you need to be aware, and I also said this at the beginning, that we're not going to be able to get to every single one. So there is benefit in super chatting, because if you would like your comment more prominent in the chat to interact with the chat, that's actually what you can get out of it. And there is the high chance that I'll be able to read it out. Not a guarantee, but we can prioritize at least, a good number of them. And we do what we can. And thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate it, and I understand the sentiment as well.
Next one's from Trickster, who said, "While we don't..."
Oh, we got a bot.
We got a bot? Oh,
kill that bot, Nathan.
Is it the same bot as before?
It might be.
Yeah.
Be gone, bot!
If even time out, I reported you. I killed the bot, everyone.
Kill it! Kill it!
Alright. From Trickster, who said, "Why don't we organically help others? The weird algorithm makes my community posts get a lot of reach, so I use it to shout out talented artists that needed more followers. If more people on the top helping those from the bottom, they're less reliant on the algorithms."
I agree, and I think I might be able to try and do that more as well. But I've always been very mindful of the community of the sword, and so what I do is whenever I'm covering a topic that's similar to the content that other guys in the community have done that I'm aware of, I try and mention. I go out of my way to mention their videos. recently I was talking about medieval entertainment, and sports came up, and I know Lloyd from Lindy Bay has a great video on medieval tennis, and so I mentioned that in the video. I do try and support the guys in my community as much as I can, and maybe I can even do more. So yeah, community posts is a great way to try and feature other things. I shared Skallagrim's video in the community post, actually. I agree. I completely agree.
Next one is from Marushia Dark with $100.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Who said, "Hello, brother Shad, love your work. Your vids are hugely influential on my own fantasy series, Thelema Mystic Will. Would be honoured to hear your thoughts on it. Dissent content isn't just censored here on Season 2, but also Twitter, Google, Reddit, Amazon."
Yeah, there's so much censorship going as well. And look, hey, it means the world that, you know, my content inspires, help people get ideas for their content as well. And what was the name of it? Well, I might write that down. I'll try and give it a look. I mean, I'm always restricted by time, and there's lots of stuff that I want to read that I don't get to, but if I put it on the list, there's a high chance I'll be able to take a look.
Thelema Mystic Will.
Okay. If you copy it and put it on a Word doc or something, or yeah. And Nathan's just copying that as well. Yes, we slayed the bot thought. Desync. Hello, sir. I was directly replying to something he just said on stream live in front of both of us, where they were talking about spamming playlists in the background at low volume. Because people use it. Alright, so yes, we keep going.
Yep, the next one is from Tony, and it was just €50, no message.
Oh, thank you, sir. Very much appreciate it.
Next one is from Grey Score with 200. Go forth. Oh no, we already read that one.
Okay, so yeah, because that was one of the ones we might have still had. Thing.
Scrolling through to see if there's any other. Okay, this next one is from the Astro Nerd Boy with $100, who said, "First discovered you when you were ranking Skyrim castles, then found out you were more of a medieval scholar. I'm a nothing YouTube channel, so I don't get hit like you, but I get hit with copyright trolls making false claims, and YouTube does nothing."
I know. I feel sorry for the smaller creators, and it's so hard to get YouTube to pay attention. And even larger creators, the only way they can get redress and attention sometimes is spouting off on Twitter and saying, "Hey, Team YouTube, what's going on?"
Yeah, one recently I remember was one of the lo-fi live streams. Mm-hmm. They obviously play copyright-free music, but then for some reason one of these other companies claimed that live stream and it went down. Mm. And that thing's been going on, I think, for years. And so they got that back and they apologized.
Yeah.
Everyone's mad because they're like, "Well, how are you going to fix that problem?" Because someone just reported, claimed that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the next one is from Reverend Norse, who said, "Greetings from Sweden. I've been watching Shadiversity for some time, and also game nights around the time of Rise of Skywalker. After the last stream, I decided to give you my first ever sub and join Subscribe Star. Keep on fighting.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate the support, sir. Really do. Thank you. So how we going? That's still going?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Next one's from Dragon Earth, who said, "Hopefully you and possibly other tubers can do something about this mess. Seems to hurt YouTubers the smaller they are."
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense.
Really, it really does. Thank you for the super chat. So what's encouraging, the alternatives are rising. Like Utreon has ads on it. Like that's the first alternative that actually has monetized ads. That's a big shift to me in possible competition for YouTube right there. So check out Utreon, guys. Things might actually be the case where if there's proper competition, that could give YouTube a wake-up call, gives a more viable alternative, and yeah, so we'll see what happens in the future.
So another one from Billy Odell, who said, "I'm annoyed that YouTube will get a cut of this super chat."
Maybe we should do Streamlabs then. Thank you for the super chat, but because if you do it through Streamlabs, you circumvent YouTube taking their cut. Maybe.
One from Learn and Perform said, "May want to make some courses. Let me know if you'd like some help."
Courses? What
I'm guessing online courses.
So online courses, my honest opinion is I'm a little on the fence, because Curiosity Stream or no, is it Skillshare? What's the one?
Skillshare. Skillshare's the big one.
I love free access to information. I think that's one of the great things about the modern day is that you can look up information, tutorials, learn. Every skill set I really use for my job, I didn't learn in high school. I've been able to find so much great access information. I want to encourage that. And I'm always a little bit against putting information back behind paywalls. So thank you for the offer and thank you for the super chat.
Next one is from Captain Redbeard, who said 3-parter for you.
Oh, wow. Hey.
1. Have you read Matthew Rayleigh's Ice Station?
No, sorry, I have not.
2. Are you wanting to or would consider making the Shadlands self-sustainable?
As in homesteading self-sustainable? Yeah, baby. That's one of my side lifelong goals. I want to be a prepper. I want to... but as to what level, don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to be a farmsteader, but I do want to grow potatoes. I want to... There's a large pond there that I want to actually drain, dig out, make habitats for fish to be able to breed in it and have a regular supply of nice fish in it. And so I'd like to make that a something. And other things like plant orchards as well is on the books. We already have trees that we will get to planting eventually. On the Shadlands, the YouTube channel, we have a video setting up the fence ready for our first little orchard, and the next step will be planting. So yeah, absolutely. I'd love that's what I want to do.
And the third and final question, which we've answered before, but super chat, got to do it again. Have you considered doing one-on-one fighting sword lessons?
I don't remember having that question.
Well, we talk about LARP and lessons in that sense.
I wouldn't have the time, unfortunately, and I would rather like to find someone who's better than me that I could take lessons from. Again, expansion things. If I ever get the spare resources, I would love to find a good instructor and fund starting a HEMA club locally here that I could actually attend a bit more regularly. So one-on-one, yeah, unfortunately, probably not. But yeah, I'd love to be able to get to HEMA. It's just there's no local HEMA club.
But yeah, those are the major big super chats we've had.
Oh, well, thank you. So we really appreciate all those super chats and we appreciate everyone else. And so we're going to try and get to a couple more, balancing time and things. The stream has done pretty good. We have had 1,600 people viewing, which is great. What I hope that'll grow now that we have a set time and people can remember. Because one of the issues about stream is recommendations. People are only able to join if they get recommended the stream, of course. But now that we have a set time, I'm hoping that people remember, hey, Shad streams at this night, and they have more options to join us, and hopefully we can even get it to grow. So the next one, my plan is not for it to be all YouTube, related. It's going to be fun stuff that is channel related. And look, I'm sure we're going to give updates on how things are going in the back end. That's just the fun thing about streams. It's casual. We can talk. Someone just dropped a $50 one. Thank you. It was Marushi Dark. Have you thought about doing another stream with Sargon to discuss the censorship issues, or even going on Lotus Eaters? There are also several sympathetic voices in your Australia, such as Daisy Cousin, Sydney Watson, Lauren Southern, etc. Oh yeah, no problem. Look, Sargon can be he is a divisive figure. I'm mates with him. I get along well with him. I don't think you should judge people for who they hang out with. And I've had chats with Sargon and everything like that. I try and keep this channel separate from politics now as much as possible. But as to what I do outside of the channel, yeah, very likely. But thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. So some of the ones that I'm seeing here, we got Zanti Shadewalker. I'm just going backwards now. For $10, thank you. It says, I've been watching since the Katana series. There's a legacy subscriber. Keep up the good work. Shad the Chad, thank you. So this is from Philip Bergamot. I'm going to butcher names, by the way. During your usual call to action messaging, you should also remind people to hang out on their subscriptions page rather than their homepage to catch your most recent videos. Very good point. I'll try and remember that. Jimmy Brassard, $5. Thank you. Says, hi from Canada. Well, hi from Australia, sir. Michael Tynan, $25. Appreciate it very much. Just a big God bless Shad. That's the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thomas Wright, have you thought about doing a video on medieval musical instruments? If so, maybe do a collab with Fabus Tunes or Annie Hurdy-Gurdy? So that's an area I don't have a lot of study in. I would be interested in it. If I like, it's always a balance of the amount of time for the results. It might be easier just for me to look it up or anything, but that is definitely so. I just love historical. That's why I really like the medieval medicine one recently. It's just one of those interesting ones about medieval culture and history that I love, and I want to do more of those. So thank you very much, Michael Dunave. Sorry for the pronunciation. $10, thank you. It would help during live streams to overlay future comments so they can be read without blitzing by. Overlay future comments? So what's it?
Overlay feature?
Feature comments. Feature comments.
Oh, okay. So you know how they have the... And then like it reads the super chats?
No?
When they notify
okay.
when someone pays
That's the thing they do on Twitch. When someone subscribes, they have like a animation appear.
Yeah, we can do that, but for super chats on YouTube. But
That every super chat gets to at least appear on the thing.
Yeah, bottom we can even change it so it's different ranges.
Yes. Thank you, and I think that's a great idea because if we don't get to the super chat, at least people get to see it more easily on the stream. I completely agree. Thank you. So that's all the ones. So, and then Chadman, the Chadman. There's a Chadman. He says, the more you pay, the longer the super chats will stay. Screenshot the super chats as soon as you see them, Chad. We shoun't need to because there is a backend that should keep them all, and we found them all. We found them all. Okay.
Screenshots don't work well, Chad. Okay, you know this. From
Nathan nearly had a heart attack last stream trying to.
Because you all kept giving us more money.
And look, we're grateful.
I love it.
He couldn't keep up with it though. There's two more recent ones I can. So Banana Games for 1,000. Is that yen? I think euro. I don't know the currency. Thank you though. Shad, it took me getting the plague to be able to catch your stream. I hope you recover. The plague, that's terrible. I'm assuming you mean the virus of unknown or unspecified origin, COVID, but I'm assuming you mean that. Fight the good fight, man. Greetings from Japan. It is yen. Haha, I was right. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. And Briscoe Everett, are you familiar with Modern History TV YouTube channel? Are you kidding me? Am I familiar with it? Of course I am. Jason's a legend. I've done a role play session back when Night's Watch was game nights. We did a stream. Not stream. We recorded it. Role play session with Jason, and not only Jason from Modern History TV, but with Matt from Scholar Gladiatoria, Metatron from Metatron, Raph from Metatron, and Lloyd from Lindy Beige. It was an ensemble thing. That was great.
Yeah, it's called Curse of Silverthorn. If anyone looks it up.
Curse of Silverthorn. Lots of fun. Would love to see you collab with him in the future if possible. Yeah, I mean, we would both love to do it. One of the issues is the distance. He's been out a collab with Lindy Beige recently, and they did some fun videos, him and Jason. I felt left out. Why am I on the other side of the world? Australia! Thank you for the chat, mate. And Modern History TV is awesome. Love him. Jason's legend. Chadman, don't make us give you more. I'll be the sponsor of both Skallagrim and Chad. Okay, sir. Thank you. From Zach Reeds. Here, buy yourself something nice, not expensive. Maybe I don't know, something chips and something with chips. I feel like chips. Thank you, sir. Kiki's Art Journey. You did a review of the Master Sword. Will you do Denise's sword? I haven't even heard of that one. Kind of unrelated. I turned you onto Pokemon a while back. Oh, you do! I actually did see that. Someone turned me into Pokemon. Thank you, Kiki. That was funny. I enjoyed that one. So check out. It's Kiki's Art Journey. She has a video where she turns me into a Pokemon, and I was a dragon type. Very appropriate. I actually was. I look dragon-like. Maybe it was, there's different types of Pokemon that sometimes. So I'm sorry, Kiki. I'm misrepresenting it. Bryce Mama says, I know it's a long series. in a number of books, but have you ever read the Shannara series by Terry Brooks? No, I haven't. That was actually the series that got me into fantasy novels. Heard good things about it. And so there's a lot of book series that I could read. It's all time, just time now. Some of the fewer back super chats, Nathan. Let's start from the beginning now.
The beginning.
So if you go back and we'll catch someone at the very beginning, just so they don't, the people who got in through the door first, we should read some of those and not miss out on them.
You hear this chat? This is me going through all the way.
Have I read Berserk? This is from Lol. I would love to hear your thoughts on the story. It's one of my favorites. So, not the manga. I know a decent amount of Berserk. I think I watched the anime ages back, and there's now multiple animes. But Berserk is in your face. It does not pull punches. But yeah, we'll read some of these ones.
Okay, we've got some of the small ones here out the gates. From the Pretzel 2, said, will these streams always be this same time?
We hope so, sir. I also saw one from Angelic Curie. Thank you for the super chat. It says, I love your content and want to say that the content on writing you used to do helped my writing improve to get rid of some of my most consistent flaws. Means the world. You know, there's been one I've been wanting to do for a while. It's just, this is one of those videos that will do very poorly unless people... It might do well in the long run. I want to do one addressing... show versus tell. People misunderstand it. I know Hello Future Me did one recently on show versus tell. Great video. I want to address the more technical side of it, the actual nuts and bolts, what showing versus telling does, because people misunderstand it. They think you must always show. No. So I do want to do more. It's just that one I've always had to put off to prioritize working on other videos because that's where we're at. Sorry, yes, keep going, Nathan. Thank you.
The next one was from Warangel 141, who said, hey Shad, love your work, keep fighting the good fight.
Thanks, man.
And then Lost Kenny from Canada said hello from Northern Canada.
Hello. I got to go to Canada last year. That was a great thing. I got to go to... Now it escaped me. Really historical... Quebec. Got to go to Quebec City. That was all. Beautiful, beautiful city. Canada is just a beautiful place. Like, genuinely. Something that... This might feel odd. Their houses... Just, you go down to, like, maybe I was in a nicer neighborhood, I do think, but I went down this neighborhood and all the houses had this, like, cottagey, slightly castle aesthetic to it. It was awesome. All the houses look so much better. Australian houses, a lot of the mainstream ones, they're flat and boring. Odd thing for me to comment on, but yeah.
Next one we got here is from Corey Capelli, who just gave us 20 US.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. I just see Kiki's Art Journey dropped one. The Pokemon sheet, it was Dragon Steel type.
Oh.
Demise, not Denise. Oh, Demise. I don't know. Autocorrect. Okay, thank you.
Next one here we got from Sinister Side Official, who just said, Shadow of the Conqueror!
Whoa, that's my novel. I've written a novel. I want to write more. It's right there. People see. Yes, you can see it. It's in the thing. I assume you like it because you're saying it. Thank you.
The next one here we have from Hippie Tree Hugger asked, Shad, can you make stuff with HelloFresh while live streaming as a fun thing to do?
I mean, I can. I'm not sure how interested people would be. Like, I try
streams would be
sponsored streams. So yeah, that's an odd one. I try to make them enjoyable, and I think people do get a kick out of them. But I'm not sure if I made it a dedicated theme. Or so. If it was a medieval something, one of the videos I kind of want to do, but this might be a Shadlands video. It's a great YouTube channel. Love it. It's Tasting History. Great YouTube channel. And so he does recipes from all across the board in history, but of course a lot of medieval ones. I want to just make one of his medieval recipes. And I think that's a video that actually might do half decently. And look, shouting me out. It's a great YouTube channel and it'll get attention as well. I think he's even bigger than me now. He's growing really great. But it'll just be, hey, check out this video. I want to try and make it now and see what happens.
And then we've got another one from the Pretzel 2 who asked how big your crew is, if you don't mind me asking.
Crew. So technically 5 full-time employees, including myself. 3, editors and also people that can join me in videos. So you've seen the Night's Watch crew. That's Nathan, Oz, and Claudia. That's the crew at the moment. We have more work that I could hire 2 more people to fill the work. We just don't have the money to support them. But I want to expand when I get the means to be able to do so. There is. I won't announce it. There's someone that we have enough to be able to bring on 1 extra person. When I say 2 extra people, that's actually in addition to this other person that's potentially in the works. We're working with this individual to bring him on, and we do have the means to do that. No announcements yet, but it'd be great to bring him on board.
Next one's from Captain Jack 1138, who said, "Hey Shad, love all your content."
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I love all the content you and the guys do. Keep up the great work.
Do our best. Thank you for the support and super chat. So Chadman is dropping him. Thank you, Chadman. But he says, next time you go to Canada land, do a video with Skallagrim. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it, no balls. Unfortunately, I was very busy last time I went over there. I would love to be able to, of course, do a collab with Skull. And what was also tragic is that Lloyd from Lindy Beige was going to be part of the short film, but the airline would not let him leave. He could. It sucked. We did everything we could to get him over to join the short film, because if he did, I would have done several collabs with Lloyd as well, and that didn't go through. So, break my heart. Would have been great. This opportunities will still come in the future. Me and my wife, we basically got to the point where it's like, all right, we need to do it. I need to go to England land, and see some castles. I'm getting too old. My health is just getting worse. I need to do it now before it gets to the point where travel is too. So we're basically going to try. We got to try and do it if we have the means. But it would be very much more a work trip, because we'd be going there to film lots of videos at real castles, people. I'd love to. And so we basically said we're aiming to do it next year. And when I'm over there, that's where people are. Metatron's not there anymore, but he was in Italy. But hey, Lloyd's there. Jason on History TV. Matt. There's people in England land.
Okay, should we do another one?
Yes.
Okay, one is from Mario, who said, "Keep up the great work. Shad, pro tip for the chat to subvert the algorithm. Go to your..." Okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't the same one.
Okay.
Go to your pages and click on any videos you are not subscribed to, and click not interested or don't recommend channels. It's a way to fight the algorithm.
Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. All right, a couple more, then we're going to have to wrap up.
Okay.
Breaks my heart. I wish we could get to them all. Thank you to everyone, but we'll do a couple more.
One is from Beno22 is cool, who said, "Hey Shad, it's not just the current prioritization, as you publicly stated that you're a Christian and follow LDS. At that, you are under more attack due to political agendas against anything remotely conservative or religious." So,
I have seen a trend where this could be my bubble, but a lot of people on the more conservative side of the spectrum have been complaining of suppression and stuff like that. Thing is, though, if I was getting suppressed for that, you'd think it would be my content on Night's Watch, where I'm more outspoken about my opinions, would be getting suppressed. Night's Watch is doing pretty good. I can't really complain about what's going on there. And it could be because it's a newer channel, but we're also, everything is like on trending topics, and people are but the type of content that Night's Watch, the people who are interested in that are more actively viewing it. There's a very active fan base that actually really go out of the way to make sure they catch a lot of that content. And I've kind of been seeing that potential be the explanation for Night's Watch's growth and success on top of it. But I get what you're saying, and it's tragic if that's the case of things. Thank you for the super chat, though.
And one here, I think we missed it, was 100 from X-Liver.
Well, I'm glad we caught it.
Said, "I left a fight autopsy to come here. I enjoy all the stuff here and the watch. Happy to support the awesome content. Also, hello to our off-friend camera."
Thank you. Hello to Nathan. Thank you for that super chat. On that note, we do need to now wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this first inaugural, is it the inaugural, is that the word? Something stream of Sunday Night Swords. Night with a K. Just, I don't know, it's something related to night. There will be behind the scenes things, but I hope you all join me on every Sunday night or Monday morning if you're in Australia on the next one. Thank you once again. Really appreciate the support. And it's just fun interacting and chatting with you guys. I love it. You guys are awesome. And until next time, farewell.